the neck in the 100 block of West Cermak. He was rushed to a nearby hospital in critical condition. Chicago welcoming another group of migrants from the Texas border, and city officials are confirming this morning that 2 buses carrying more than 100 have arrived. It's the third time Texas officials have sent busloads of immigrants to Chicago in 1 week. Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott says they're sending illegal immigrants to Democrat-led sanctuary cities like Chicago, New York, and Washington, D.C. to point out inconsistencies in the border plan of the Biden administration. The Bears plan to meet with Arlington Heights officials tonight, discussing their ideas regarding a new stadium complex, but some want to know how much taxpayers may be on the hook for. Artist renderings show a sweeping entertainment and residential district along with a stadium, and a team is not asking for public money for the stadium itself, but may seek help for the surrounding entertainment district, a move that Deputy State Director for Americans for Prosperity, Brian Costin, is not in favor of.
It's a horrible part of our economy when certain corporations are picked by government to get special deals while the rest of folks who don't have that political clout are left with the highest combined state and local taxes in the nation.
His organization recently conducted a poll which showed 68% of respondents disapprove of using any taxpayer dollars for the project. Chicago City Council exodus continues. On Wednesday, Alderman Howard Brookins announced his plan to retire from City Council at the end of his term. 3 members are leaving to run for mayor. 6 others are not running for re-election, and 3 other members departed earlier this year privately. Many on the City Council say it's Mayor Lightfoot's combative style that is prompting them to resign or retire. Economy, crime, and abortion. These are some of the issues rising to the surface in the final 2 months before the November election. AM 560's Greg Bishop reports.
A TV ad from People Who Play by the Rules PAC depicts Republican gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey as an outsider of each party's political establishment.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
High taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try?
A new digital ad from incumbent Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker's campaign features Emily Lopez from Elgin sharing a personal abortion story while being critical of Bailey's position.
Darren Bailey puts his beliefs before my health, and I fundamentally disagree with him on that.
I'm Greg Bishop.
A 27-year-old suburban man has been arrested by Bloomington, Indiana police after an 18-year-old woman told officers she was sexually assaulted in a parking garage back on September 1st. Andre Hardy of Joliet was arrested on Wednesday in Will County by Sheriff's Police and U.S. Marshals. Hardy was taken into custody in Joliet, awaiting extradition back to Indiana. Investigators probing Hardy's background discovered he had previously been arrested in New Mexico for sexually assaulting a female he met in a parking lot. A topless beach in Evanston is one step closer to reality. Evanston City Council Human Services Committee advanced a plan this week to allow women to go topless at city beaches. The University of Illinois welcoming its second largest freshman class ever. About 8,000 first-year students are incoming this fall. This year's class is second only in size to last year's record freshman class of 8,300. Eloy Jimenez had a great day at the plate. Sox beat the Mariners 9-6 at T-Mobile Park. Jimenez went 3 for 4 with a double, home run, 3 RBI. Southsiders now 2 games back of Cleveland, and Dylan Cease starts for Chicago against Oakland tonight. Cubs left 9 on base in a 7-1 loss to the Reds at Wrigley Field. Sky try again to advance to the WNBA Finals tonight at Wintrust Arena. Bears had just 2 players on their initial injury report for Week 1 yesterday as the Bears host the 49ers on Sunday. The NFL season actually kicks off tonight as the defending Super Bowl champion Rams host Buffalo. Bulls bringing back a key bench player from last season, team signing free agent guard Malcolm Hill to a contract. The news, a service of the AM 560 store, T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University. 5:08, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk wonders if the GOP wants to lose.
Right now, Republicans should have the wind at their back. Red wave is what we were told. They're worried that a legitimate tsunami is brewing in this country, and your Republican establishment is worried that might be hard to manage. They're afraid that there is something bubbling up, and they don't want to play into that.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at CrosscomInc.com. That's CrosscomInc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
You've worked hard your entire life to provide for yourself and family, but the one thing you can provide them that will last forever is your legacy. For over 180 years, families have trusted Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago in helping them set their legacies in stone. With interest-free financing and low monthly payments, now is the time to set your final wishes in place. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 today to schedule a free consultation.
Fellas, need an annual health exam? I recommend my friends at Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They will check all of your levels, not just your T levels. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and office visit with our medical provider to give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy, even verifying your insurance. So go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
5:10 on AM 560, The Answer. Let's get an update on the early morning roads. We do that in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, and it is a service of the 100 Club of Illinois, honoring those in public safety, police, fire, and remembering the lives given in the line of duty in 2022. At the annual Raising Hope Awards Gala with tickets at 100clubil.org. Edens and Kennedy are off and on time this morning. No problems there. Ike inbound at 22 minutes, 390 to the old post office. Stevenson, 21 minutes from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, no trouble. I-57, though, problems southbound between US 30 and Sauk Trail. In that construction zone, it's down to one lane. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Lots of sun today, the high at 83. Clear tonight, low 62. And then sunny and warm tomorrow, the high 85. Clear skies for tomorrow night, low 65. And then warm on Saturday, periods of clouds and sun, the high 83. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
63 at O'Hare, 65 Lakefront, 67 Midway, 56 in Aurora. And your next news update is at 5:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Darren Bailey isn't popular with the political establishment of either party because he's from the real world.
I'm proud to be a family farmer. We get up before the sun comes up, and we work until after it goes down. We fix things that are broken. We solve problems, and we grow things. And I love to remind people what farmers do. they feed the world.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
Bailey got involved in state politics by opposing the income tax increase signed by the previous Republican governor, and then led the opposition to the income tax increase proposed by the current Democrat governor, because high taxes are driving families from Illinois. We tried billionaires from both parties. They left us with high taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try? Paid for by people who play by the rules PAC.
A successful baseball coach gets the offer of a lifetime.
We need a new coach. I'm looking at it. I'm Coach Brooks, and I love this game.
When his methods reveal his faith, two worlds collide.
Your job description at this school reads coach, not pastor.
I'm being forced to choose between providing for my family and doing what God called me to do.
This is bigger than baseball. It's bigger than you.
Champions live here. Running the Bases in theaters September 16th. Rated PG. Tickets and showtimes at runningthebasesmovie.com.
You just keep winning.
The world has changed. Our economy has changed. And now, more than ever, it's important that your retirement savings is set up to generate income, real money, in your bank account month after month while still controlling your principal. In retirement, it's all about income, and anyone who says differently simply does not understand retirement planning. To learn how it's done, join Amazon best-selling author Michael Stewart for the Retirement Success Blueprint every Sunday afternoon at 2.
The Daily Herald 2021 Best of Fox winner for Best Financial Advisor is Total Clarity Wealth Management. The 2021 Reader's Choice Award for Best Wealth Management Firm and Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. Are you ready for a change? Choose Total Clarity Wealth Management. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust, 401k rollover services, estate planning, and more. They can help you be ready for anything and give you confidence.
I'm Terry Murphy. At Total Clarity, we are committed to providing our clients a clear financial path, whether that be for their own financial independence or creating a legacy for future generations.
Call Total Clarity Wealth Management, 630-672-9352. TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Awards are based on number of readers.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. I help business professionals solve IRS problems forever. One of my clients, let's call him Mike, runs his own business and hadn't filed his tax returns in years. He didn't know what to do, so he did nothing. Not a good choice. Mike knows the IRS can take his bank account, his passport, and his house. What he didn't know is the IRS could contact his customers and collect the money he owes from them. We prepared all Mike's returns, filed an appeal to slow the IRS down, and worked out a plan to pay the IRS based on his budget, not on how much he owed. We helped him with tax planning and his business structure to reduce future tax bills, and we keep him in compliance to keep the IRS away while he focuses on rebuilding his life. What's the first thing you should do if you have unfiled returns or if you owe the IRS money? Get a copy of my book. Deal with your IRS problems today. Go to freeirsbook.com. That's freeirsbook.com to get your copy, or call us at 312-664-6649. There's no time to waste. Fight back now.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
A quote from Winston Churchill: "You don't make the poor richer by making the rich poorer."
Listen, to all you manufacturing companies out there, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Coolshar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and system integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet the FDA numerous compliances and requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, your facilities, and your plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 companies to garage startups, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. If you own a business and need design or process engineering or testing, I encourage you to call my friend Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or online at hireasi.com.
From the Matrix Home Solutions Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Remember a few weeks ago when we had this guy who's some sort of columnist for the Marxist Chicago Reader on, and he was just he thought his gotcha moment was going to be asking me where I vote and
where you live,
where I have residency, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was surprised. I think he was surprised to find out that. Sort of open and notorious, sort of public. I tend to hide out in the open. That I established residency in Florida and had a place in Naples, so
we know that
wasn't much of a gotcha moment. And so fast forward to yesterday, and I start getting these texts and calls from your dutiful members of the Chicago Democrat Socialist Com Shop who portray themselves as journalists. I'm talking about the Greg Hineses and the Marianne Aherns and others of the world. The Chicago Press Corps, the Com Shop for the established power structure in Chicago and Illinois. I get these calls about newspapers that you've heard us talk about on this show literally for years.
For 8 years? How many years? I've known about that. I've been reading CityWire.
Chicago Citywire, South
I've been
Cook
reading
News,
that.
West Cook News, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and they do a lot of good work.
Literally have been talking. We did a whole series of property tax stories that we spent months on end poring over on this show that were all produced by papers to which I'm affiliated, which has been disclosed innumerable times. Almost every time we mention this story comes from South Cook News, it's a paper to which I'm affiliated, so on and so forth.
I mean,
it's been like that since the beginning of the papers, when we first started publishing these papers.
How many years ago was it?
This is, I don't know, a decade? And it was the fake news, don't pay attention to misinformation, blah, blah, blah. This is the early days where anyone on the left all anyone on the left could utter was misinformation, fake news, lies, racism, phobia, this, ism, that, blah, blah, blah. This has been covered by the same people who covered it yesterday any number of times throughout any number of election cycles.
Yeah, and Chicago Citywire, they broke the story about when the CTU came forward and said a teacher died or a mom died because her daughter brought COVID home to her. And they realized, no. And they waited, and they're the only station that did the story, and then everybody else picked up on it, that the mom drank herself to death and did not die from COVID. And there's story after story that they've done that has been
So you'll
respected.
imagine my surprise when I get an email from Marianne Ahern saying, Governor Jelly Belly, although I don't think she used the phrase Jelly Belly.
No.
He says your papers are misinformation, and they only present one point of view. And my response was, oh, you mean like the AFL-CIO Times and the Chicago Tribune? We have a newspaper that's owned by a labor union and now
the government.
a government-funded media outlet that is allied with the labor union. And you want to talk to me about presenting one point of view? The difference, as I've said from the beginning of the papers that I was a part of starting, the difference is I am open and notorious. I have a point of view. It informs the story, and so do the people associated with these papers. It informs the stories we choose and how we choose to cover them, which is what I've always said about the Chicago Press Corps and the D.C. Press Corps, except they lie about it, and they pretend they come to the table as blank slates. They have no point of view. There's no editorial discretion or worldview, political perspective that informs the stories they select, and that is a lie. The difference between me and them as I'm honest about my approach and intentions, and they are not.
Well, she declared, Marianne Ahern said that you're not a real newspaper yesterday.
The papers, they've been delivered under different names. This one, the Chicago City Wire. They all claim to have real data and real news, but it's also a campaign message, not a real newspaper.
Right. Again, unlike the AFL-CIO, NPR Times, unlike the Chicago Tribune, these different editions that Marianne is pretending are news to her, they're online. They've been online for a decade, and intermittently they've been mailed out. They have different stories or different regionally appropriate content to a particular story.
Like the Daily Herald does the same thing.
So here's my challenge to Marianne and Greg Hines and Jelly Belly and everybody else, all the other trolls on the left on social media, swishing over each other like Asian carp with their mouths agape to gobble up whatever is said by the Chicago press corps so they can regurgitate it. I'm reading South Cook News. Got South Cook News right here. You go through these stories and the information, and you tell me what is a lie. Tell me what is inaccurate. Tell me what is misinformation.
Well,
if you want to tell me it has a point of view, yeah, it has a point of view. Right, I'm honest and direct about that. Tell me what is inaccurate, what is misinformation. They get away with, because it's the comm shop for Pritzker and Lightfoot, they get away with saying it's lies, it's misinformation, it's racism, all the things that they say all the time about everything that is not their content or that doesn't agree with their position. Go through at like the cover story. It's literally going to be the end of days, which is a James Glasgow quote from a speech he gave over the summer in Naperville. Then Glasgow and Berlin, who are featured in the cover story, it's essentially a summary of the things they said on this program about the Safety Act. See, they don't want to talk about the substance of the Safety Act.
No.
This insert on the front page of the South Cook News and other editions, non-detainable offenses under the Safety Act, and it's listed.
Right, but their point of contention...
And let me finish. And it's listed. And the source on that is Bob Berlin's office, the DuPage County State's Attorney's Office. He did a PowerPoint on the Safety Act. So tell me what is inaccurate about about the content, the failure, and why they can pantomime it all they want, and you can be friends with whoever you want. But if you let anyone get away with accusations of misinformation and lying and racism, be specific. What is inaccurate? What is a lie? What is racist? Oh, because we have mugshots of all the people by region, some, not all the people, a smattering of the people to give you a sense of it, to make it concrete, of the kind of people who will be no cash bailed out. They'll get a walk under the Safety Act to make it real, so it's not just an abstraction. It's not just a slide from a PowerPoint. I'm sorry that we have Julio Moreno profiled, who's being currently held in Cook County Jail on $400,000 bond for aggravated criminal sexual abuse. Under the Safety Act, he walks.
There are 2 pages of photos of men, mostly black and Latino, who, according to the paper, will be released on bond in DuPage County.
And then Pritzker picked up on that,
it's not,
this is racist.
Stop. It's not according to the paper. It's according to Cook County. It's according to DuPage County. It's according to Will County. I'm sorry, the alleged criminal perpetrators, these alleged violent criminals, I'm sorry they don't meet with the perfect racial representation of Chicagoland or America or whatever Marianne Ahern wants it to represent. I'm sorry crime victims are not proportionally representative by race either. They're obsessed with race, not me. I'm obsessed with public safety. And I'm sorry if, Lester Pierce is a black dude who's being held on a $180,000 bond in Cook County Jail for felony possession of a weapon, and he would get a walk. I'm sorry if Paul Pina is I don't know, maybe he's a Latino dude. I don't even know. Felony possession, use of a firearm while on parole, $250,000 bond in Cook County Jail. He'd take a walk under the Safety Act. I'm sorry if Roque Cantera, who's being held at Cook County Jail on $200,000 bond for child porn, is, I don't know, is he Latino? I don't know. Michael Hawkins is a honky. I'm sorry, he's included at $500,000 Cook County Jail on bond in Cook County Jail for child porn and so on and so forth. Keith Kegel, another honky, domestic battery, bodily harm, $500,000 Cook County Jail. He'd take a walk under the SAVE Act. Gosh, I'm sorry I didn't worry about the races of the honkies and the black guys and the Latino guys and the Asian guys, because who cares? It's looking at the non-detainable offenses under the Safety Act: second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, arson, aggravated battery, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, aggravated fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, and so forth. I'm sorry if we took that list and then applied it to who's actually being held for trial right now in Cook County, in Will County, in DuPage, and everywhere else. Oh, it doesn't meet with, I'm playing racial politics. I've injected race into the race. Are you kidding me? Into the campaign. All these people do is talk about race. That's all they do.
Governor Pritzker responded.
This is Dan Proft from his home in Florida, injecting race into the campaigns for governor here in Illinois.
Yeah, I'm the guy talking about race. I've injected race into politics in Chicago and Illinois. By the way, hey, Jelly
You
Belly.
want to talk about Florida homes? Let's go.
Hey, I'm right here.
You've been
Come
here for
on
5
over.
months. You've been here for 5 months.
Meet me over at the Elmhurst Cigar House. I'll teach you to be a man and smoke a cigar. I'm right here.
He's not done with you.
I have a home in Florida. Yeah, you got,
Homes
compounds
everywhere.
everywhere. What does that even mean? I'm injecting, but that's not even the point, because it's not about me. It's just him boogeyman politics, because he doesn't want to address the substance of the Safety Act. No one on the left will talk about the Safety Act other than to say this: it's a lie. What we're saying is a lie. Not me. Who am I? I'm a guy who blathers on the radio. Prosecutors, 100 of 102 county state's attorneys in Illinois opposed to it. Berlin, Glasgow, Republican, Democrat. Jim Rowe, Kankakee, Democrat.
Denton Odd, White County state's attorney.
There's a very strong chance that they will try to tweak it. The way that it's been drafted, again, is seriously flawed. It will be an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it's everybody, every sheriff and every county prosecutor, not named King Fox or Reinhardt from Lake County, they're all saying the same thing.
Superintendent Brown saying the same thing.
Which is why they won't talk about it.
He wants it changed.
They don't want to talk about it. Jelly Belly and Triple Threat don't want to talk about it. They just want to say, if you make it real for people, you're racist. It's misinformation. They're lying.
No, it's lies.
These are lies, and they're putting them out in various forms.
And the whole, you call me racist all day. I mean, it's been rendered so inert by its overuse and misapplication. I was just thinking about this on the drive-in. I've got about 10,000 hours of radio over the last decade in this market. So go ahead, pour over it. It's amazing how I'm this boogeyman. I'm this racist. I'm injecting race into things. It's amazing I've been able to survive this long.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, can we take phone calls and talk more about this?
Yeah, we'll take calls on it.
Some more audio you have to hear. 312-642-5600. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
It's 5:32 on AM 560. The Answer. 63 degrees right now. 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly is in custody after going on a shooting spree around Memphis on Wednesday. Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis confirms 4 are dead, 3 more are hurt in a rampage that ended in a high-speed pursuit.
2 weapons were visible inside the vehicle where Kelly was. The homicide division and other investigative units are actively working these crime scenes now, and numerous felony charges are pending.
Police say Kelly's first shooting happened early Wednesday morning, leaving a 24-year-old man dead. Later, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland says Kelly was sentenced to 3 years in prison on multiple charges stemming from an arrest in 2020, but only served 11 months, then got released.
These evil actions show why truth in sentencing is a must, and we should do all we can to make our city safe.
Then the shooting spree began around 4:30 p.m. again, local time, resulting in 7 total shot and 2 carjackings in one day. The second suspect in recent stabbing attacks in Canada is dead after a 4-day manhunt.
On Wednesday, police in Saskatchewan made the announcement about Miles Sanderson shortly after he was taken into custody. His car was run off the road by police, and he later died at a hospital of self-inflicted wounds. Sanderson and his brother Damien were the 2 people of interest after 10 people were killed and more than a dozen others were injured on Sunday. Damien was found dead on Monday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Ukrainian forces recaptured 2 major villages in a surprise attack that punched through Russian front lines south of Kharkiv. Both Ukrainian and Russian sources are telling reporters Ukrainian troops had captured 2 settlements and have effectively surrounded a third today. A 19-year-old is in custody after allegedly going on a deadly spree and later we'll see more information on a Biden administration review of a federal judge's ruling about HIV drug coverage. A Texas judge has declared unconstitutional the Obamacare requirement that employers cover the cost of HIV preventative drugs. Bermuda bracing for a hurricane as Earl intensifies in the Atlantic. A man charged in a double murder in Highland Park is due in bond court today. Police found 2 dead inside of a home yesterday in the 1800 block of Green Bay Road. One man critically wounded following a shooting on a CTA Red Line train in Chicago's South Loop. It happened last night. And Chicago welcomes another group of migrants from the Texas border. It's the 3rd time Texas officials have sent busloads of immigrants to Chicago this week. The Texas governor has been sending illegal immigrants to Democrat-led sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York. White Sox beat the Mariners 9-6 at T-Mobile Park. Cubs left 9 on base in a 7-1 loss to the Reds at Wrigley. Sky will try to advance to the WNBA Finals again tonight at Wintrust Arena. Blackhawks will have plenty of time on national television this season. Team announcing yesterday that 13 of its games will be broadcast to the country. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges, and you can join today at 560theanswer.com/join. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets are on sale now for Freedom Summit 2022, presented by Matrix Home Solutions, coming to the West and Chicago Northwest and Itasca on Saturday, November 5th. This year's lineup features Larry Elder, Brandon Tatum, Alex Berenson, Jenna Ellis, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and many more. Tickets for this event sell out every year, so don't wait. Get yours today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by healthinsurancementors.com and by Charles Equipment Energy Systems.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
A quote from Winston Churchill: "The main vice of capitalism is the uneven distribution of prosperity. The main vice of socialism is the even distribution of misery."
Listen, to all you manufacturing companies out there, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Coolshar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and system integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet the FDA numerous compliances and requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, your facilities, and your plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 companies to garage startups, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. If you own a business and need design or process engineering or testing, I encourage you to call my friend Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or online at HireASI.com.
Celebrate Fireplace and Chimney Authority's 30th anniversary tent sale at their Lyle showroom at 1702 Ogden Avenue for 3 days only, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. They want to thank their loyal customers for 30 years of loyalty and look forward to another 30 years. To reward you, they're offering unbelievable savings on outdoor kitchens and gas grills. Find the absolute lowest prices on pellet grills and everyone's favorite, the Big Green Egg. From outdoor heaters, grill accessories, gas logs, electric fireplaces, and much more. You can find it all at the Fireplace and Chimney Authority's 30th anniversary tent sale at their Lyle showroom, 1702 Ogden Avenue. The smokers and grills will be going with free samples for everyone, and they're giving away free promo bags to the first 100 customers. Additional discounts for fireplace cleanings and inspections only at the event. They can't wait to see you there, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com for all the details.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen that'll save space in your cabinet? To learn more, visit simplegreen.com.
5:38, quick check of the roads, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. It is a service of Dan and Amy 24/7, around the clock all day, every day. Listen now, danamy247.com. Inbound Edens 15, Lake Cook Road into the junction. Kennedy in 18 into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike is okay right now. Stevenson at 26 from 355 into DeSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan in right now is at 12 minutes into the Burns Circle interchange. I-57 jammed on the outbound side at Sibley due to construction on the entrance ramp until 6 a.m. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Brilliant sunshine today, high 83. 62 right now at O'Hare. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The governor's race is heating up because... Well, Governor Spalding is feeling the heat, as well he should be, for the policy choices he made, most notably on taxes, doubling the gas tax, trying to increase your income taxes.
And then
even as he runs around lying with the help of the Chicago and Springfield Press Corps, talking about tax relief because he temporarily suspended the incremental inflationary increases for your gas tax and so on and so forth. What a joke, talking about misinformation and fake news, which is the topic du jour, because the newspapers to which I'm affiliated that have been circulating, perhaps you've gotten some, are being accused by Jelly Belly and the Chicago Press Corps, his dutiful servants, handmaidens,
and real quick about
misinformation and lying and racism and so forth.
About the gas, too, and then he's trying to force gas station owners to put up a sticker that says he froze the gas.
He's not
tax.
trying to force them.
He is forcing them.
Yeah. Yes.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
But yeah, back to your fake news, because Marianne Ahern from NBC5 declared that these aren't real newspapers.
The papers, they've been delivered under different names. This one, the Chicago City Wire. They all claim to have real data and real news, but it's also a campaign message, not a real newspaper.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. What my point of contention is that I know these reporters from Channel 9, 5, 7. They read your newspapers and get story ideas, and then that helps them, fill these slots that they have to fill in every day. So your newspapers make news. It's just, I don't know.
They don't want cognitive dissonance. They've had a stranglehold for so long on the political content of news coverage, and they don't like the pushback. They don't like, frankly, being exposed to a wide swath of the electorate in Illinois as having been telling only one side of the story for generations, as at the service of, as I said before, the established power structure in the city and state, as purveyors of the groupthink from which they suffer. So then somebody comes along and does the work they didn't do, and it's not just me, and it's not just our newspaper group, it's other people that have stepped up, legislators, county prosecutors, necessarily. There wouldn't be a story if you had county prosecutors saying, yeah, we think it's fine. That's not what they're saying about the Safety Act. They're saying end of days. That's what Jim Glasgow said. I don't know how stark it could be, how much more stark it could be. In addition to, and it's not just the no cash bail. There are other things, and we went through it with Berlin from DuPage County and Glasgow from Will County when they were on the show, and we will again and again and again. And by the way, we have Darren Bailey on the program at 7 o'clock and Willie Wilson at 7:30. So we'll see if Willie still will allow me to be a whitey for Willie now that I've been called a racist by Lightfoot and Pritzker. But they don't want to deal on the merits because they've never had to. And they don't think they have to now. And there's probably a good reason for that, because you get away with saying misinformation and lies. And my challenge, to repeat, is simple. Go through the newspapers, and they've been done by topic areas. The first one was COVID and school related, with the kids going back to school. The last edition was the one that really got their attention because it hits them where it hurts, which is on public safety, since that is a fleeting proposition in Chicago and Illinois.
And you show 2 pages of mugshots of people who will be released when the Safety Act goes into effect in January.
Right. And the headline for the, just so you know, it's like we're not just pictures trying to racialize, injecting race into the campaign. Oh, give me a break. The headline for the mugshots is, under the Safety Act, these suspects would be released to Cook County neighborhoods. And the same goes in DuPage and Will and Lake, et cetera, et cetera.
Throughout the whole state. And governor wanted you to know this, Dan.
This is Dan Proft from his home in Florida, injecting race into the campaigns for governor here in Illinois.
It's just such an amazing statement. Not the part about me, because who cares about me or him? The idea that somebody new is injecting race into the campaign or to Illinois and Chicago politics. That's just a stunningly disingenuous statement, but he gets away with it because where's the follow-up? Where's the follow-up when you make the claim of misinformation or lies? Where's the time where they have to stand and deliver? Never.
They run away. He runs away from the lectern.
He doesn't have to run. And first of all, he cannot run. He doesn't have to run because where are they to ask the follow-up? Nowhere.
Well, this is the end of Marianne Ahern's piece because I'm letting her speak for herself.
Should also note, every one of those shown as someone who will be let out with cash bail is gotten rid of. The prosecutor may seek, and also the judge may order, pre-trial detention.
Yeah. So, that
could take 48 hours.
Well, it's actually no. The presumption. The Berlin and Glasgow explain this. The presumption is release. The idea, because technically, under extraordinary circumstances, which are delineated in the legislation, although it's a bit confusing because it's a terribly written bill, by the way. Has Pritzker read it? Probably not. Has Marianne Ahern? Definitely not.
Well, no.
Have I? Yes. Has Glasgow? Yes. Has Berlin? Yes. It's not going to happen. They're going to be out. The people profiled here and in the other editions, and you're hearing from county prosecutors. I just can't stress that enough. This is not me versus Pritzker or Bailey versus Pritzker. This is county prosecutors and county sheriffs who know what they're talking about, who understand, and judges, by the way. You know, they confer. They talk to one another. They're telling you what is going to happen. You can just
Democrats are too. I mean, this is
you can not believe it. It's fine. Don't believe it.
That's what they're doing. They're burying their head in their sand.
But just let's just be clear about something that is that there's no way you can dispute. Who is telling you what is going to happen? It is not me. It is county prosecutors and sheriffs, and judges are loath to speak in public. But if you talk to the county prosecutors and sheriffs, they will tell you they've had these same conversations with the judges. So just understand that when whatever comes to pass, comes to pass.
And here's another, Denton Odd, we played him earlier, White County State's attorney. This is who he says it's going to benefit.
Well, that the proponents claim to be benefiting, claim to be helping the low-level offenders, they're not going to be helped out. They're actually going to be harmed by this. They're actually going to be sitting in jail longer.
Greg in Jefferson Park.
Hey, good morning, Dan, Amy. Mary Ann Ahern, I just do not get these people doing this. And, you ought to sue her if you can, Dan. But
no.
This stuff never ends. One of the other, some guy got shot, right? All you heard on the news, our lefty news, was a guy got shot at a liquor store, I think, at 200 North Pulaski. Well, it turns out when you look at the video of that, the guy who did the shooting got sucker punched standing at the counter first by another guy. Then he's walking out the door, turned around and got some street justice and punched a hole in him, and now the guy's dead. So he won't be doing that again. In addition to that, another lefty that never gets talked about who claims to be he's all for the people, Ben Joravsky of The Reader.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I liked a lot of the stuff that he did on TIFs, but of course nothing got reformed by that. But and aside from that, the guy is race. It never ends, and the people of Chicago and Cook County and Illinois buy into this crap. Thanks much, guys.
Thanks for the call, Greg. Again, too, the whole profiling criminals, alleged criminals, people that are being detained on serious charges. And it happens that a majority of them are minority, which also happens to be the fact that a majority of violent crime committed in Chicago and Cook County is committed by minority individuals. It's disproportional. It is not a commentary on black or brown people.
But they turn that into it.
It's just the fact.
Ridiculous.
But you know what they never do? They never concern themselves with the victims, just generally and specifically when it comes to race. How many times have we said on this show what I am about to repeat? 80% of the homicides and shootings we know from arrest records, black individuals. 80% of the victims, black individuals. Yeah. I'm not wishing this to be. We're describing what is and what should be done about it. But they don't want to do anything about it. They want to turn the streets over to predators or they're willing, I should say, to turn the street over to predators, a small group of people who represent a preponderance of the violent crime because the race hustle is how they maintain power, they believe. And they may be right because they've gotten away with it so far. And that's the real question. It's the question that I've been asking in my ads. How much worse does it have to get? Well, what does it take to stuff that race hustle down their throats and throw them out of office? You want to talk about cynical politics? You want to talk about misinformation and lying and, dare I say, racism? It is the race hustler's rap. Triple Threat's a purveyor of it. Spalding is a purveyor of it. The entire Democrat Socialist Party is built around it. Rich in Indian Head Park.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Dan, there was a newspaper that I received yesterday. It's the West Cook News.
Yeah.
And it had your article in there when you interviewed Berlin and Glasgow, and how they were saying how this Safety T Act is going to change everything as far as prosecutions go. But I didn't see anything in there that they had anything to do with any kind of race.
Well, that's
so maybe
because
you can tell me
That's
what they're
'cause he's
talking
just
about.
saying the
I have
facts.
no idea.
thanks for the coverage. Well, they didn't. And Glasgow and Berlin didn't talk about race either. They talked about public safety.
Right.
Yeah.
People can't believe that this is going to happen.
And the story, the other front page story in most of the editions, Jim Murphy resigns from Cook County State's Attorney's Office after 25 years. I mean, that's a story that was covered somewhat by the Chicago Press Corps, but is that misinformation too? And what he had to say about Kim Fox's office? What he had to say about Kim Fox? This is the head of Felony Review. I wish I could stay. I would love to continue to fight for the victims of crime and to continue to stand with each of you, especially in the face of the overwhelming crime that is crippling our communities. However, I can no longer work for this administration. I have zero confidence in their leadership. Is Jim Murphy a racist? Is he peddling misinformation? Cook County Felony Review. Point person. And a lot of people know in the law enforcement community know Jim Murphy and have tremendous respect for him from everything I've heard. 25 years.
Love him.
25 years. Is he a misinformationist? Pritzker? Lightfoot? See, they won't go after Jim Murphy because they can't. They can go after, me, which is fine. I don't care. I'm just trying to explain to you what they do. This is not woe is me. I could care less. Could not care less. This is to explain they need a boogeyman for you to focus on so you don't focus on what they have done, what is happening, and the proximate cause of what is happening. So focus on MAGA extremists, semi-fascists. Focus on Trump. Focus on me. Focus on, something that Darren Bailey said that was taken, in the worst possible way and so on and so forth. Let's make this about anything and everybody that's not part of our crew and that doesn't put us in jeopardy of having to account for what we've done. That's the racket. That's what they do. And a lot of times it works. And we're going to find out if it works again this November 8th, aren't we? John in November 8th. John in Naperville. I've got November 8th on the mind.
That's right. Hey, another consequence of the Safety Act nobody's talking about. I had a chance to talk to the defense attorney. The defense attorneys will typically have the defendants sign over their bond to them and guarantee payment for their services. That's gone as of January 1st.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
something
right.
else to worry about.
Thanks for the call, John.
And if you're a police officer and somebody makes an accusation against you, you can't get that expunged from your record.
There's also, there's
the offender. He can get his record, expunged, but not the police officer.
We'll have to get into it too because there's issues with rules of engagement for police to use their weapons. I mean, it's
a hot mess. It's 800 pages of just
telling you. I'm
poorly
not
written, rushed through legislation. It was awful.
Just conveying what people who do this every day prosecute, or arrest, prosecute, preside, what people do this every day are trying to tell you. Okay. Ron, Southside.
Hey, good morning, Dan. And Dan, continue to put the facts out there. And Lightfoot, Pritzker, they just lying pieces of crap. I mean it. And we have to get them out of office. But that's all I want to say. Please continue on. The facts will stand. But yeah, they're just absolute lying pieces of garbage that rely on. They're the ones who rely on this racism talk. So just ignore them, and let's get to the polls November 8th. Especially get that big fat piece of crap out of office, starting with him. Let's send a message in this state. Have a good day.
Thanks, Ron. I like that. Tony and Downers Grove.
Yeah, well, up is down, down is up. How many times are we seeing this with a social issue, a political issue? A small group gets backed by journalists. If we check the source and the motivation for every article written behind a story, we'd be busy discrediting a lot of people. But here's the real challenge. It's how do you continually confront someone like Pritzker with the facts after they stand up there in a self-righteous, indignant manner and call you a liar? And it could be as simple as, hey, you did not balance the budget. You used federal money to balance the budget, but then you're cut off if you ask an additional question. So the trick, Dan, is how do you get people to continue to ask the follow-up questions in mainstream media so the truth can finally get out there? To me, that's the real issue. We always say it. You always talk about it. Where are the follow-up questions? No, I'm not going to stop asking the question. I'm going to expose you. Until that happens, we're going to continue in the same roller coaster.
All right, thanks, Tony. Tom, Deer Park.
Yeah, we get the Lake County Gazette, and a week ago, my wife said, "Here, this is Dan's paper, right?" I said, "Yeah." And she says, "There's nothing that's not wrong in here." I said, he publishes it. It's his point of view. Let me give you a couple examples. We get a lot of stuff here. Chicago Catholic, that's published by Cardinal Cupich, the Archdiocese. It's about Catholics, and it's pretty darn woke since he's had the helm at the Arch. Oh, yeah. And the other example I give is yesterday's Cranes, where it was about female attorneys in Chicago and their accomplishments. There wasn't one single male attorney in there, nor a transgender that I know of. So is that a misandrist operation? Maybe you could ask Greg Hines that.
Thanks, Tom. Chuck Delavan.
Hey, I'm sorry. I said Pritzker was up swimming by Lake Geneva, and they tried to shove him back in because he was a beach well. Last weekend, I was down by Marengo Guns. True story. Route 23 was blocked off. A limousine pulls in the parking lot. There's Pritzker in the back seat. He goes, "I got to get down to 290 right now. Do you know a back road to get down? I got to get down to 290. I go, "Looks to me like you're going to have to lose about 150 to get down there." Talk to you later.
Oh, I see what he did there. All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:06, speaking of trying to inject some sense into the discussion, is it time to be more aggressive in intervening with sense when it comes to COVIDians, particularly COVIDians wearing masks, but not just masks? Vinay Prasad, an oncologist and professor of epidemiology at UCSF, has a good piece on the topic. We'll pour over 6:06.
And later, Chewy to the rescue. We'll explain. But now, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
A man charged in a Highland Park double murder and a man shot on a Red Line train in the South Loop. Chicago police are investigating. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
It was a bad night in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This has been a painful week in our city.
Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland angry over a shooting rampage that left 4 people dead and 3 injured days after a kidnapping and murder involving a different suspect also in custody made national news.
We should not be terrorized by anyone.
Memphis police say charges are pending for 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly, accused of driving around the city, shooting 7 people before being caught last night around 9 o'clock. They say there were no fewer than 8 crime scenes and that he streamed some of it on Facebook Live, including the shooting of a man inside an AutoZone store. Kelly's record includes an attempted first-degree murder charge in 2020. He pleaded guilty to a lesser crime and was released early from a 3-year sentence 6 months ago.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. In Saskatchewan, Canada, police captured the last of 2 suspects in a weekend stabbing rampage that left 10 people dead. But he died shortly after of self-inflicted wounds. His brother, an accomplice, was found dead Monday. In Las Vegas, Nevada, a county leader will be led into court today.
Clark County Public Administrator Rob Tellis on suspicion of the murder of longtime investigative journalist Jeff Gehrman, who was stabbed to death outside his home this past weekend. Tellis, a Democrat, lost his re-election bid in June's primary after a series of negative reports by Gehrman alleging a hostile work environment and an inappropriate relationship with a staffer.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken just arrived in Ukraine as the U.S. pledges nearly $2 billion more in military aid for Ukraine and other countries threatened by Russia, the day after Russia's leader was defiant.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said Russia hasn't lost anything. Shocking words from the leader of a country some estimates say has lost 25,000 soldiers sent to fight in Ukraine.
That's Fox's Amy Kellogg. America's listening to Fox News.
62 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560 The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One person is dead, 2 others are wounded. It follows a shootout on Chicago's west side. Police say a man and another person were arguing early this morning in the 5800 block of West Madison when both pulled out a firearm and exchanged gunfire. A man charged in a double murder in Highland Park is due in bond court today. Police found 2 dead inside of a home in the 1800 block of Green Bay Road. Barry Goldberg was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. A man is critically wounded following a shooting on a CTA Red Line train in Chicago's South Loop. He was hospitalized in critical condition. Area 3 detectives are currently investigating. City of Chicago has another group of migrants from the Texas border arriving. City officials confirming 2 buses carrying more than 100 arrived yesterday. It's the 3rd time Texas officials have sent busloads to Chicago. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has been sending illegal immigrants to the Democrat-led sanctuary cities of Chicago, New York, and D.C. to protest the border policies of the Biden administration. The Bears plan to meet with Arlington Heights officials tonight, discussing their ideas regarding a new stadium complex. The team is not asking for public money for the stadium itself, but may seek assistance for the surrounding entertainment district, a move that Deputy State Director for Americans for Prosperity, Brian Costin, is not in favor of.
It's a horrible part of our economy when certain corporations are picked by government to get special deals while the rest of folks who don't have that political clout are left with the highest combined state and local taxes in the nation.
Chicago City Council exodus continues on Wednesday. Alderman Howard Brookins announced his plan to retire from the City Council at the end of its term. Privately, many members who are stepping down to run for mayor or are resigning say it's Mayor Lightfoot's combative style that is prompting them to resign or retire. Chicago sports. White Sox beat the Mariners 9-6. Cubs, a 7-1 loss to the Reds at Wrigley. The Bulls bringing back a critical bench player from last season, signing free agent guard Malcolm Hill to a contract yesterday. The news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and The Sean Thompson Show. Subscribe free, 560theanswer.com/podcast. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum doesn't see a fair fight.
Why didn't we politicize the federal government and attack Hillary Clinton and all of the Democrats going after Nancy Pelosi? We you know, it's funny because I get it that we trying to play fair, but how are you going to play fair in a rigged game? How? Why are you trying to play by the rules and the other side, they didn't set the rules on fire and threw it off a building?
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Dave Nissen, CEO of PKF Mueller. The current COVID pandemic has been a challenge for all of us, and many businesses struggled and experienced financial distress. Businesses are focused on recovering now, and fortunately, several government programs are available to ease this process. One such program is the Employee Retention Credit, or ERC, an incentive program designed to bolster businesses that were able to retain their employees during the COVID pandemic. Companies may be eligible for up to $26,000 per employee if they qualify, and they may be eligible even if they previously participated in the Payroll Protection Program, or PPP. Most importantly, this is not a loan. No repayment is required. Billions of dollars are still available, yet many companies are underutilizing this credit due to IRS changes on eligibility. Our dedicated ERC team can help to discover if your business is eligible, determine the amount, and assist with the filing of the credit. Contact me directly to learn more at 630-524-5274 or online at pkfmueller.com.
The global economic group headed by China and Russia, called BRICS, is dedicated to challenging the dollar. This means the dollar will be further damaged, and along with it, the purchasing power of Americans. This is Stephen K. Bennett. I want to remind you that you can still protect your hard-earned savings from world events. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To claim your free info kit on gold IRAs, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898. It's critical you get this information before the dollar is further eroded and you lose even more of your hard-earned money. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required. Take action today.
Here's to patriotism. Here's to choice. Here's to having your voice be heard, especially when voting with your hard-earned dollars. When voting with your dollars, Matrix Home Solutions asks you to support businesses that share your values. If you're considering a home renovation, specifically basement or bathrooms, Matrix is asking for your vote. Matrix is a locally owned business that was recently named one of the top 50 remodelers in America. They support patriotism, freedom, and liberty-based ideals. As the title sponsor of the Freedom Summit in Chicago, Matrix has committed its support for our voices to be heard. They would also like to show support for loyal AM 560 listeners. Do you have a basement or bathroom project coming up? Visit matrixam560.com to claim your exclusive 20% discount simply by entering promo code VOTE, V-O-T-E. Also, register for your chance to win a free home makeover at matrixam560.com. Vote with your dollars on your next home project by entering promo code VOTE at matrixam560.com.
6:08. Get a check on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of the 100 Club of Chicago and Illinois, honoring those in public safety, police, and fire, and remembering the lives given in the line of duty in 2022. At the annual Raising Hope Awards Gala with tickets at 100clubil.org. Edens is okay right now. Kennedy in 21 minutes. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike inbound from Wolf Road. It is 17 minutes. Slow on I-55 as you travel inbound between Weber and the Veterans Parkway due to an accident on the right shoulder. Stevenson in from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive is at 28 minutes. Dan Ryan at 1495th into the Burns Circle. And the Tri-State jamming this morning right at I-88. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Today, sunshine and the high at 83. Clear tonight, low 62. Sunny, warm day tomorrow, the high 85. And then tomorrow night, clear skies, low 65. Partly sunny, warm day on Saturday, the high at 83. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
62 at O'Hare, 62 in Wheeling. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I know masks are over for you and so many other COVID mandates and hassles are over, but not for everybody.
No, they're not over. Yesterday, in New York, Kathy Hochul ended the mask mandate for mass transit.
Wonderful. I'm sure that'll get a lot of people back on the subway there.
Yeah.
Head Start. Head Start preschools and child care centers, so schools where the federal government has direct oversight.
Right.
Because it's federal dollars. Mandatory masking still on the books for teachers and children as young as 2 years old.
Oh, God.
Mark Skuzin, our economist friend, writing in the Wall Street Journal. I was looking forward to the American Economic Association's January conference in New Orleans after 2 years of virtual meetings, this coming January. Then I got the notice from the American Economic Association. Economists, They're supposed to be good at trade-offs, at least assessing them. All registrants will be required to be vaccinated against COVID-19 and to have received at least one booster. High-quality masks, N95 or better, will be required in all indoor conference spaces. Skuzin writes, I can fly to New Orleans, teach college classes, go to restaurants, gyms, and social events without wearing a mask or showing proof of vaccination. Even Broadway theaters have dropped their demand for masks. But by the way, Chicago theaters haven't.
No, they haven't.
There's no mandate being imposed by the hotel, if you're wondering. This is all about the American Economic Association and the left that's in charge of that, so they're virtue signaling. Skuzin writes, maybe the American Economic Association should hold its annual meeting in Beijing.
312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line. You can also reach us on our text line at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Maybe it's time. You know, we talked about this. Hey, you want to wear a mask until rapture, go for it. I don't care. And we're not going to behave like the minders, the nagging minders that the COVIDians behaved, how they presented themselves during the pandemic, running around tattling and shaming and so on and so forth, anybody who didn't have their mask over their nose and mouth and so on and so forth.
Yeah, one guy got chased around the Jewels with a price gun because he wasn't wearing a mask. People got in fist fights.
So
relationships ended.
So we're not going to do that. But maybe we should intervene in this way, like an actual intervention. Intervene with reason and sense. This is the point that Vinay Prasad, Dr. Vinay Prasad, makes over at his Substack, Sensible Med. Vinay Prasad is a oncologist. He's also associate professor of epidemiology at University of California, San Francisco. So he's not just some dude. He's one of those guys that has credentials that we're supposed to listen to. And we should listen to this guy because he also is reasonable, which is a nice addition to the credentials. He writes, it's time for medical professionals to advise young, middle-aged, healthy people to throw away your N95, leave your CO2 monitor at home, and get back to life. The masks, the CO2 monitors, and so forth, not proportionate responses. You are not acting reasonably. Someone needs to tell you. Anyone who plans on being around for the next decade has only two things guaranteed. You will definitely get COVID-19, and you will definitely pay taxes. Over the next few years, COVID-19 will engulf everyone on Earth. Over the next few decades, it will engulf everyone many times over. Given you're eventually going to get COVID, and it's less dangerous than flu, you should take all the same precautions you used to take for flu, but no more. And wash your hands in the winter. You should do that now. At the same time, you don't have to be excessive about it. You can do it like you did before, reasonably. You know what you didn't do. You didn't carry a CO2 monitor and have a heart attack if it goes to 1,800 ppm or whatever the hell scale it uses. In fact, if you even know the scale, you might benefit to talking to someone. Pre-COVID, you didn't wear an N95 mask when you went to the grocery store. Clutching it tight if you've heard someone cough, you don't need to do that now. You didn't stuff a child's face into a counterfeit, untested N95 mask. If you didn't do it then, you shouldn't do it today. You didn't let mid-level school officials make up masking rules, and we should not do that now. You would never shield your face from an infant in daycare for hour after hour, day after day. Doing that now is deranged. You didn't complain that your employer was trying to encourage people to show up to work so they can justify paying them. Don't do that now. Pre-COVID, you were willing to eat food with friends and colleagues inside. You should do that now. For those who disagree with Dr. Prasad, he writes, if you do, articulate the reason. Do you really think you can avoid COVID-19 indefinitely? Are you going to carry a CO2 monitor in 2025? How long will we continue to do this? Do you think it's possible you're acting irrationally? Have you contemplated that? Think it's possible that you're over the top? The response is disproportionate.
Well, they're all in and they're brainwashed now. And there's a lot of people still wearing masks at CPS. If you had COVID and you're out, you have to wear a mask for 10 days. And anybody around you, regardless of vaccination status, has to wear a mask for 10 days. So masks are they're everywhere.
Well, this is what he's talking about. And so this is where I suppose he's right. It's time for medical professionals to offer this advice and counsel. To say, because otherwise it's just,
it's going to go on forever.
Well, otherwise, if it's just a regular person, you're just a Trump supporter. You're just this. You're just that. What do you know? Are you a doctor? Are you an epidemiologist? And when the response is, well, actually, yes, I am. Mm-hmm. Maybe it will carry more weight with some of these people who are acting irrationally that Prasad talks about.
Well, this is from Pritzker. If you didn't wear a mask, you were the enemy.
The enemy is not your mask. If you're not wearing a mask in public, you're endangering everyone around you. So the enemy is you.
Shaming.
The thing that the things that they got away with.
I know.
So far, you have a chance to not let them get away with it, as we're in month 33 of the emergency order. The CDC, we're going back to Dr. Prasad, the CDC has done you a disservice. It enabled people to act irrationally by pushing Paxlovid in people in whom it was not studied. It encouraged people to mask without ever generating data if the community recommendation worked. And worse, long after it made long after it made sense in terms of the mask wearing, per Jelly Belly there. It recently encouraged healthy 20-year-olds to wear an N95. That is frankly bad advice. Any COVID benefit dwarfed by the downsides of making a 20-year-old think they are vulnerable and weak. Any COVID benefit is dwarfed by the downsides of making a 20-year-old think they are vulnerable and weak. And that would go, I would suggest, for young people under that age, too.
Well, no health leaders ever came out and said, it's okay if you get COVID. We're all going to get it. It's not a death sentence. And that was so irresponsible of them. And still to this day, it's okay, guys, it is okay to get COVID. You'll live. And then once you get it, your immune system's going to be stronger, so you won't, possibly get it the next time. But then some people are 5 shots in, and they've had COVID. I know one person, 5 shots in, 3 times they've had COVID. And they're still alive.
Yeah, maybe the question, it's just sort of a friendly amendment to Dr. Prasad's recommendations. Do you want to go back to living how you used to live or not? Maybe people don't want to go back. Maybe the thrill they get, the frisson, to borrow from Dr. Theodore Dalrymple, the idea if they're overcoming some looming threat, they're beating it. Maybe that's just too powerful. Maybe that just provides too big a dopamine hit that they don't want to go back. They never want to go back. They want to live in the COVID era. They want to make the COVID era for themselves the entirety of their lives. Maybe. At least they'd be honest. At least ask the question. Maybe you'll get an honest answer. Maybe that's what it is. I like it. It makes me, especially now, it makes me stand out. It identifies me with something. I'm part of something. I'm part of a movement, part of a positive movement. We're beating a virus. We're saving lives. We're protecting grandmas. We're saving kids.
I'm protecting you.
Maybe.
My church is fully masked for 3 services every Sunday. And if you don't wear a mask, they give you the stink eye, which is just ridiculous.
I want somebody to just be honest about it. I don't want to live my pre-COVID life. I want to wear my mask. I want to have the CO2 monitor around my neck like, Flava Flav shower clock. Yeah, okay, fine. That's the way I want to live. It's fine. If that's the way you want to live, it's fine. Just be honest about it. Don't say it's based on the science and data, because it's not. Just say, I feel good about this and what we're doing and trying to do, and I feel important.
Well, they feel a part of something. Like, look at me. I'm helping you.
Maybe.
By protecting you from me.
Maybe.
And they also, now germs are bad. No, germs are not all bad. But they think that now. They think that, Pritzker told me like I'd be an enemy if I didn't wear a mask.
No, forget all that stuff. Yeah. It's just like, what's really going on?
They brainwashed him.
What's really going on with you? That'd be interesting. You're behaving irrationally. I just was going to say, yeah, I know. It's just what I want to do. It's just my thing now. It's my jam. Okay.
Well, a lot of kids in school don't want to show their faces because they don't like their smile, and this gave them an excuse, and some of them keep wearing it, not because of the fear of the disease, but because they don't like the way they look. So it's their battle regalia. It's their, it's part of their uniform. It's part of who they are now.
I still do like the mask mandate only for politicians. I do like that concept. I'll stick with that.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Breakthrough Ideas with Jeannie Ives brings you the first of 3 events in a Breakthrough Ideas Town Hall series. Insights on education and culture in our education systems. Thursday, September 15th at Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen. Special guests for this event include Ted Dabrowski, Frank McCormick, and Terry Schilling. Don't miss this special Breakthrough Ideas event. Thursday, September 15th at Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen. Get your tickets now, just $20 at breakthrough-ideas.com. That's breakthrough-ideas.com.
It's like a tattoo.
Right. Oh.
It makes me an individual. Everybody's doing it, I know, but it still feels like my tattoo, my mask.
Yeah.
It's part of my identity now. Maybe. Lose that summer vacation weight quickly. Reset your metabolism with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses technology that consists of hair and saliva sampling to customize a personal weight loss program just for you. Contact NJ Diet today, and they'll contractually guarantee you'll shed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. NJ Diet is a hormone detoxification system that evaluates and targets each individual person's needs, then balances your hormones where the side effect is weight loss. Then NJ Diet utilizes DNA testing to create your personal diet plan and workout regimen so you can keep the weight off. Full supervision is provided every step of the way, and you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet is all natural, no shots, no hormones, no prepackaged foods, and no surgery. Appointments available in Skokie and Oakbrook or from home with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Or log on to njdiet.com and to lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
Here's to patriotism. Here's to choice. Here's to having your voice be heard, especially when voting with your hard-earned dollars. When voting with your dollars, Matrix Home Solutions asks you to support businesses that share your values. If you're considering a home renovation, specifically basement or bathrooms, Matrix is asking for your vote. Matrix is a locally owned business that was recently named one of the top 50 remodelers in America. They support patriotism, freedom, and liberty-based ideals. As the title sponsor of the Freedom Summit in Chicago, Matrix has committed its support for our voices to be heard. They would also like to show support for loyal AM 560 listeners. Do you have a basement or bathroom project coming up? Visit matrixam560.com to claim your exclusive 20% discount simply by entering promo code VOTE, V-O-T-E. Also, register for your chance to win a free home makeover at matrixam560.com. Vote with your dollars on your next home project by entering promo code VOTE at matrixam560.com.
Guys, a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and be sure to go to a provider you can trust. I recommend my friends at Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. Low T Center exclusively specializes in men's wellness. They check all of your levels, not just your testosterone, and they determine the cause of any symptoms you're having and whether you're a candidate for low T or something else like low thyroid or sleep apnea. Typically, their annual health assessment is completely covered by health insurance, and they check everything, including PSA, your prostate levels, thyroid, liver and kidney function, cholesterol, glucose levels, and more. Low T Center has affordable and convenient options for treatment, including monitored self-inject treatment that ships directly to you each month. Make your health a priority. Schedule your annual health assessment at Low T Center today. It's covered by most health insurance or less than $100 cash pay. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spervery's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a physician. I've been in practice for 40 years. When I started taking this, I don't like medicines, and I probably have taken more people off medicine than I put on it. And so I looked at it, and it's pretty much a natural element. And there's no question in my mind, knowing a lot of patients, that people my age, 60 and over, do not eat right. And they certainly don't get the appropriate nutrients through the vegetables, fruits, and things like that. So I think that it supplies the building blocks that your body normally would use to heal itself, and if you don't get them, you don't heal right. So it's amazing. I'm doing what I did 2 years ago.
Start your journey to better health. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping. And don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
2021 marked Chicago's deadliest year in a quarter century. Crimes and gang-related violence continue to increase year over year. We can stop this violent cycle by implementing trade schools for young adults, former inmates, and other Chicagoans to learn valuable skills, providing opportunity, education, and economic empowerment. Choose Dr. Willie Wilson as mayor so we can keep Chicago safe together.
I approve this message. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Illinois' population loss was the third worst amongst U.S. states from July 2020 to July 2021. 2,400 businesses in the Chicago area will never reopen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As mayor, Dr. Willie Wilson will work hard to restore Chicago by lowering taxes to keep people in the city, helping small businesses get back on their feet, and expanding access to infrastructure. Dr. Willie Wilson, leading Chicago to a better tomorrow.
I approve this message.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, text from 773. Masks still required in all Cook County courts for everyone but judges, because the judges have plexiglass in front of them.
Yeah, that stops the vid right there.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, again, I guess you defer to medical professionals, unless the medical professionals in your lives to start being the sense whisperers, if you will, when it comes to COVIDians.
Wake up and read something. That's what I want to tell people who walk around with masks, especially outside. I want to ask them, like, are you okay? Are you sick?
Richard Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy. I just thought you guys could do a good favor for everyone in this area, anyways, or the U.S., by reminding people that less than 10% of people listed as dying from COVID actually die from COVID. You had on Dr. Awardi or a tape of her kind of admitting that there's a big difference between dying with COVID and from COVID.
Right.
Thanks. If you look at the stats today, it's basically like maybe one or two people a day in Illinois die from COVID.
Or they're dying
Thanks
with
for the call,
COVID.
Richard. Yeah, I mean, again, we're now into the place where it's going to be a COVID shot a year. At least that's going to be the recommendation, like the annual flu shot. Mm-hmm. Boy, this just keeps looking more and more like what a lot of people said it was at the outset, a bad flu. And now, because of the mutations and because of the therapeutics, it's not even that. Okay.
But if you have the flu, you can still go to school when you feel better and you don't have to mask up for 10 days. I just feel like that's never, ever going to go away in certain school districts. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The guerrilla journalists over at Project Veritas have done it again. The target, the Democrat nominee for United States Senate in South Carolina, she's running against Tim Scott. You'll hear what she had to say about Whitey at 6:36.
It's fascinating. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
At 6:31, we have 62 degrees. And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is making an unscheduled visit to Kiev, bringing along with aid worth $2 billion for Ukraine and other European countries that may be threatened by Russia. State media says the death toll from a fire at a karaoke parlor in southern Vietnam has risen to 32. Fire began late on Tuesday and burned into Wednesday morning. A 19-year-old Memphis man is being charged with first-degree murder after allegedly killing 4 in a shooting rampage. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland.
I am angry for them, and I'm angry for our citizens who had to shelter in place for their own safety until this suspect was caught.
Shelby County District Attorney says it's been a terrible week for the city of Memphis, that after the death of Eliza Fletcher and then Wednesday's shooting spree.
If we come together, we will find the strength to stem this tide of violence, this flood of violence, and make our community safe.
Authorities say Ezekiel Kelly was apparently shooting people at random as he drove around Memphis Wednesday evening and was allegedly live streaming that shooting spree on social media. The second suspect in recent stabbing attacks in Canada is dead after a 4-day manhunt. On Wednesday, police in Saskatchewan made the announcement about Miles Sanderson. Commuters no longer have to wear masks while riding mass transit across the entire state of New York. Governor Kathy Hochul announced yesterday masks are now completely optional.
I know that people may be hesitant to come on a Monday morning at 8 o'clock, but we're seeing the numbers almost back to normal on weekends, Sunday brunch time.
Yellow signs are going up at transportation hubs to confirm to commuters that masks are no longer mandatory. Fire and rain could be the theme for Southern California by the weekend. 100-degree heat will end abruptly late Friday, according to the National Weather Service, as Hurricane K is churning up a lot of heavy rain. 1 person is dead, 2 others wounded following a shootout on Chicago's west side. Police say a man and another person were arguing early this morning in the 5800 block of West Madison when both pulled out firearms and exchanged gunfire. A man charged in a double murder in Highland Park is due in bond court today. Barry Goldberg was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. A man is critically wounded following a shooting on a CTA Red Line train in Chicago's South Loop last night. A former employee of Rivian Automotive in Normal is suing the company today. Angela Betancourt is filing suit claiming she was sexually harassed and faced a hostile work environment. She worked on the battery team at the automaker's Normal plant. White Sox beat the Mariners 9-6 at T-Mobile Park. Cubs lost to the Reds 7-1. Bulls bringing back a key bench player, Malcolm Hill, signed a contract yesterday. The news is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app. 6:35, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets are on sale now for Freedom Summit 2022, presented by Matrix Home Solutions, coming to the Westin Chicago Northwest and Itasca on Saturday, November 5th. This year's lineup features Larry Elder, Brandon Tatum, Alex Berenson, Jenna Ellis, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and many more. Tickets for this event sell out every year, so don't wait. Get yours today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Bishop's Hill Winery and by Illinois Concealed Carry Training.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I guess I heard the ads. That was mainly it. That's when I started. I didn't know anybody else that was taking it, but I just started on it and got through Christmas, and I went to, after New Year's, I went to Arizona to visit my friends that live in Sun City, and I was out walking one day, and I thought to myself, I feel good. I just feel like I'm about 15 again. And, you know, I'm 80-something, so, you know, that's pretty good. I just couldn't believe how great I felt. And every day when I got up, I felt great.
Start your journey to better health. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping. And don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Darren Bailey isn't popular with the political establishment of either party because he's from the real world.
I'm proud to be a family farmer. We get up before the sun comes up, and we work until after it goes down. We fix things that are broken. We solve problems, and we grow things. And I love to remind people what farmers do. They feed the world.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
Bailey got involved in state politics by opposing the income tax increase signed by the previous Republican governor, and then led the opposition to the income tax increase proposed by the current Democrat governor, because high taxes are driving families from Illinois. We tried billionaires from both parties. They left us with high taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try? Paid for by people who play by the rules PAC.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads now in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. And this update is a service of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. Brand new Galaxy Z Flip 4, finally here. Capture hands-free content from every angle with Flex Mode. The sleek foldable design lets you make your device conveniently compact. Visit Samsung.com to order your Galaxy Z Flip 4 today. Inbound Eden, 17 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction. Kennedy Inn, already 54 minutes from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike, inbound from 390 to the old post office, 46 minutes. Stevenson at 55 minutes from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And the Dan Ryan, 24 in from 95th to the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. A brilliant day ahead. Sunshine at 83, clear and crisp, 62 overnight. 62 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. America First with Sebastian Gorka, today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Such a good song, such an underrated artist. You know who this is?
Someone's going to tell me in my ear.
No, he's not. You don't know who this is? I'll give you a hint. Roxy Music. It's a pretty good hint.
Roxy?
No. Good guess. Brian Ferry? You remember Brian Ferry?
Is it with more than that?
Exactly. That's the song.
Oh, here we go. Ready?
Yeah. No, it was not a cue for no. Stop.
But we've hit the refrain. I
Yeah.
did not sing.
All right. So Project Veritas went undercover to use one of their reporters to interview the Democrat nominee for United States Senate in South Carolina. This is a woman named Crystal Matthews. She's currently a state rep in South Carolina. She's running against incumbent Republican Senator Tim Scott. So this is a black woman running against a black man, since you're about to hear. This is not me infusing race into the campaign in South Carolina. This is reason will be clear in a second, because Crystal Matthews wants to make things about race.
Well, I heard on the news last night that you were racist.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to that again later in the show.
I'm going to quit today. Yeah.
Here's Crystal Matthews talking unwittingly to a Project Veritas reporter about her constituents, and her state rep seat, she mostly represents white folks, honkies, as we call them. And then wait for it, how Project Veritas got turned onto Crystal Matthews as a potential target. So first Crystal Matthews, and then how they got turned onto her.
My district is heavily Republican, and it's heavily white. Wow. I'm not a stranger to white people. I'm from a mostly white town. Yeah. And let me tell you one thing. You got to know who you're dealing with. creek. That's the only way to respect you.
Yeah, no.
I keep them right here, like under my thumb. Like that's where I keep them. Like you have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they get out of control like kids.
Trust me.
So, you know, like for me, all these other people are tiptoeing around them, and I'm like, no, that's a white. I ain't doing that. They'd be like,
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit hard to hear. She talks about you got to let them know one thing. You're not going to take their blank. She says, I treat them, she's talking about white people, like blank, like Shiite. That's what she says.
Right.
And she's, I don't tiptoe around them. I'm like, that's some white blank that you're doing right now. And I treat them like blank, which is just interesting, but it's interesting on a couple levels. One, I mean, it speaks to what a ill-informed, cynical person she is. But that sort of is how I think you prey on the misplaced guilt of some white people who have become as race obsessed as some of these race hustlers who profit from the hustle. And there's a point there, not to get too much of a psychoanalytical tangent, but so here's how she came to the attention. So this is the treat white people like blank as the headline, and this is what people are talking about. Yeah, interesting campaign stance to take, yeah, for sure. But here's how she came to their attention. She's talking to a guy named David Solomon Ballard in this next clip, who's an inmate at the Prairie Correctional Institution in South Carolina. Remember, she's a state rep. She's the Democrat nominee for Senate in South Carolina. And listen to the topic of discussion.
Why are they talking?
She is having with this South Carolina ward of the state.
As far as getting people to infiltrate on the other side and everything, because the only way to get to be the arm is from the inside out.
we need somebody who understands street games that we can clean up and put in a suit. That knows, like, again, we all working toward the same goal, and we all know what the play is.
Right.
It's almost like a secret society. Exclusive membership.
Right.
We need that watch. Where's the gangsters? Where's the street at? Like, where they at? And I'm telling you, them are smooth as fuck. You can't out-swindle them. They might not know all the college words, but you can't hustle them.
Right.
They with their money. Mm-hmm. Like, they see the game a mile away. Where them at? We need to put some of them in a suit and tie.
You got this one young brother that used to be on the front line with me when I was out there right then. He's organized. He a blood, but he very political. You know what I'm saying? So I would Jay Tyson his name. So we're gonna reach out to him and see if y'all can have a face-to-face about what we can.
We need him to, and I'm gonna have to test him. He gotta be able to walk and talk the talk. He gotta be able to down his own people. He gotta be able to explain why he used to be that way. I used to be with that but I'm not with it now because X, Y, and Z. He gonna have to be able to articulate that. He can't convince me. He can't convince them.
So you know what she's doing there? She's enlisting gangbangers to help with her campaign. And oh, by the way, lest anyone search for their fainting couches in Chicago, this has long been a staple of Chicago politics. From time to time, it's actually been reported on. But the involvement of street gangs with Chicago politics and, by extension, state politics, there's a lot of tradition there. And I'm not just talking about Gator Bradley. And it may help inform, not to beat this drum too repetitively, but it's relevant here. It may inform how the Safety Act got passed. Who is serving who and for what reason? Because one of the reasons that Jelly Belly had no choice but to sign the Safety Act, which he's probably never read, doesn't need to read it. He can just call any criticism misinformation and fear-mongering, and nobody asks him follow-up questions, so that's all he needs to do. One of the reasons is it came from the Black Caucus in Springfield. Right. Those are the sponsors.
They were all with him when he signed it.
L.G. Sims and Slaughter and Marcus Evans.
Kimberly Lightford.
Well, so who does this, I guess, if you want to say, disproportionately benefit? It's not black families. It's the criminal element, which, again,
it helps the criminal.
Is disproportionately black. It's disproportionately black. That's just what it is. So the alliance, to me, everybody's focused on the treat white people badly like blank. That's what they're focused on. The more interesting thing is how she got on Project Veritas's radar, this conversation with an inmate about how to get gangstas and street N-word, which is what she said, involved in her campaign. And
put them in an effing suit, and then I've got to meet with them because if they can't sell it to me, they're not going to be able to sell it.
Right, and use as double agents on the other side. Now, compare that black woman to the kind of presentation you get, the kind of thoughtfulness you get from Tim Scott, black man. So this isn't about race. This is about character. It's not about race. It's about talent. And these are the choices. So the South Carolina choice, I think it's going to be pretty easy. I'm not really worried about Tim Scott. Well before this, I didn't even know who Crystal Matthews was, really, other than as a name that's challenging to replace Tim Scott. But Tim Scott's going to do very well. He'll be fine in South Carolina. That's a more sensible state than the one we live in. But the dynamic is not dissimilar to Chicago. I mean, to the extent that the left is race obsessed and you want to talk about race, I'm happy to talk about race. If you think them calling me a racist frightens me, don't think so. I know who I am. And I'm not doing any tap dancing for anybody. So what about that? Do you want people that present themselves professionally? And this is across the spectrum. It's not partisan. It's about quality of leadership. It's about legitimacy of leadership. So like our friend LaShawn Ford, who's a West Side Democrat. But he's not down, and he's down for some things I'm not. He thinks the Safety Act's a good thing. He's wrong, but he's not wrong from a bad place. He's just wrong. He's wrong on the implications of the Safety Act. But it's not because he's promoting lawlessness or in service of street gangs or anything like that. So it's different. So you can
he hasn't read the whole thing either.
Well, so you can at least have a conversation on the merits with him, with our guest coming up at 7:30, Willie Wilson. Can you do that with Lightfoot? Can you do that with Pritzker? I mean, is Lightfoot all that different from Crystal Matthews? She speaks in complete sentences. She uses less slang. But is her perspective any different? Even though she's a former partner at a big law firm, former prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office, as a politician, is she any different than Crystal Matthews? I don't know. Maybe she wouldn't attempt to formally herself make alliances with street gangs, but the hustle, it's not dissimilar. And it's been going on in Chicago in one form or fashion, as long as I've been alive, that's for sure. These are the choices that it comes down to when you want to strip it away and speak to the substance of the issue. Do you want to go ghetto? There's no other way to say it. Do you want to go low rent like Crystal Matthews does? You want to play the ends justify the means, including formally enlisting predators to advance your politics? She's doing it formally. Pritzker and Lightfoot are doing it informally, and Fox are doing it informally through things like the Safety Act. And frankly, there may be some formality, too. They're not getting their hands dirty, but there may be some formality afoot as well. Old habits die hard in Chicago. So this is like real world of what goes on and why you get the representation you get in Chicago and why it needs to be called out, and then why they react the way they do when you turn up the heat a little bit. The problem the Republican Party has had in this state, and maybe some others too, where they've been less successful, is they think, so many think, that you can take on these sorts of people and you're going to be praised. Thank you, finally. And you're going to be treated fairly by a press corps that's in their camp that plays the same identitarian politics. You think you can do this without having to engender any criticism, any name calling, any pushback. No, when you're getting the name calling and the criticism and the pushback and the unfair coverage is when you know you're finally making progress. You finally have broken through such that they can't simply ignore you and overwhelm you with their resources anymore. And maybe that's where we're getting to in Chicago and Illinois.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Remember to eat your fruits and vegetables. We all remember these words from our childhood. But how does anyone have time to buy, store, prepare, and eat enough healthy fruits and vegetables in our busy lives? Balance of Nature keeps it simple. Our produce is powdered after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. The produce is then mixed into a scientifically researched blend designed with your body in mind. Once these blends are encapsulated, they are packaged and sent right to your door, so you can get all the benefits of a colorful variety of fruits and vegetables every day. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-2468-751. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Honestly, over break, I actually took the 120 Life, and this one apparently is for healthy blood pressure. But yeah, it's down to 153 over 107, even with us laughing and joking.
And what was it prior to?
It was 184 over 113 or something like that.
Hoff Daddy, what did I tell you? That stuff works.
There you go. That was an unsolicited testimonial guest of John Anthony's on John Anthony's show, Black and Right, which is Saturdays on these airwaves.
Because you're saving lives. I mean, he came in here and his blood pressure was out of control, and they have a box of 120 Life behind you, and he grabbed one, and boom.
Hey,
now he's back to normal. You're saving it.
Glad that it's working. Friends, September is the perfect time to hit the reset button, set new goals for yourself. It's National Self-Improvement Month. Ira over at 120 Life keeps track of all these months and what this month is and that month is. National Improvement Month, September. Think of it as an annual personal checkup. Maybe you want to volunteer, adopt a new exercise routine, read a book, or improve your overall health. I have a suggestion. 120 Life. 120 Life is my go-to juice drink that helps control my blood pressure. I drink it every day and can't stop raving about it. I love it. Know you will too, especially if you have high blood pressure. It's packed with 6 natural ingredients that have amazing health benefits like beetroot, hibiscus, pomegranate, and tart cherry juice. 120 Life tastes refreshing, especially poured over ice. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Use the coupon code DAN10 to save 10% on your order plus free shipping. And as an added bonus, now you can earn customer rewards points with every order. Points you can collect and redeem for discounts up to $50. Better blood pressure numbers in 2 weeks or your money back. That's guaranteed. 120 Life makes it easy to manage your high blood pressure. Try it today.
If you're considering protecting your retirement with gold or silver, listen up. Mark Davis here. One company I trust for this, Advantage Gold, the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. They are so passionate about teaching people how to own physical gold and silver. They've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because they really educate their clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. Call 800-900-8000. 800-900-8000. Talk to one of their experts. They can send you a free gold kit along with a free
free copy of the Wall Street Journal national bestseller, The Great Devaluation. Number again, 800-900-8000. Don't wait any longer. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value, all from Advantage Gold. 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Call Advantage Gold today. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
All right. Now's the time to join the millions of Americans who've changed the quality of their sleep with MyPillow. Mike Lindell didn't stop at pillows. Oh, no. The Percale sheets are the newest thing, and they are the comfiest set in the world. High thread count, breathable, have a cool, crisp feel, and they're on sale right now. Go to MyPillow.com. Check it out. They come in a variety of colors and sizes. All of them are on sale. For example, the queen size, regularly priced at $89.98, now only $39.98 with promo code Amy. Order now because when they're gone, they are gone. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code Amy. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. Or call 800-489-0201 and be sure to use promo code Amy.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
This is John. I did my second home purchase with Townstone Financial, and Townstone's going to give the better rate by far. They found the best rates. They found the lowest closing costs. And I know that because I had previously worked with a big bank who gave me ridiculous closing costs, high interest rates. They weren't looking out for my best interest, and Barry did his best to keep in touch with me. Couldn't have had a better experience.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 7:07, in our continuing effort to bring you the candidates on the ballot in key races in Illinois on November 8th, Republican nominee for governor, State Senator Darren Bailey, joins us at 7:07.
And later, Willie Wilson will be here. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
There's a man charged in a Highland Park double murder expected in court later today. Man shot on a CTA Red Line train in the South Loop. R. Kelly's ex-business manager says he didn't believe early sex abuse claims, and he explains why on the stand. Illinois welcomes its second-largest freshman class to Urbana-Champaign, and the White Sox winners over the Mariners. WINT Chicago News Times, 7.
They're in mourning in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Dave Anthony, 5 Fox News. After 4 people were murdered, 3 injured in an hours-long shooting spree.
I am angry for them, and I'm angry for our citizens.
Mayor Jim Strickland, the accused gunman's in custody, 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly.
He allegedly documented the murders in videos posted to Facebook. Police issued a shelter-in-place order until Kelly was arrested after wrecking his stolen getaway car.
Fox's Brooks Singman. Now, this comes days after a Memphis teacher and mother's kidnapping and murder. That suspect is due back in court today, and so is a county leader in Las Vegas, Nevada. Administrator Robert Tellis was arrested on suspicion of murdering a newspaper investigative reporter, Jeff Gehrman, who was stabbed to death outside his home.
Tellis lost his re-election bid in June's primary following a series of reports by Gehrman in which current and former employees alleged Tellis created a hostile working environment and that the married father of 3 had an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate staffer.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting Ukraine right now after the U.S. pledged up to $2 billion in new military aid for Ukraine and other European nations that Russia threatens. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says they'll be sending weapons Ukrainians need.
105-millimeter howitzers, artillery munitions, harm missiles, Humvees, armored ambulances, anti-tank systems, small arms, and more.
There's royal worry in Britain. Prince Charles and other members of the royal family are going to be seeing Queen Elizabeth II, who's now under medical supervision. Doctors said to be concerned about her health. The Queen is 96 and has been on the throne in Britain since 1953. America's listening to Fox News.
7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. We'll start with sunshine today and 62 degrees at O'Hare. One person is dead, 2 others wounded. It follows a shootout on Chicago's west side. Police say a man and another person were arguing early this morning in the 5800 block of West Madison. Both pulled out firearms and exchanged gunfire. A man charged in a double murder in Highland Park due in bond court today. Barry Goldberg was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. A man critically wounded following a shooting on a CTA Red Line train last night in Chicago's South Loop. Area 3 detectives are currently investigating. Economy, crime, and abortion. Those are some of the issues rising to the surface in the final 2 months before the November election. AM 560's Greg Bishop has more from the campaign trail.
TV ad from People Who Play by the Rules PAC depicts Republican gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey as an outsider of each party's political establishment.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
High taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try?
A new digital ad from incumbent Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker's campaign features Emily Lopez from Elgin sharing a personal abortion story while being critical of Bailey's position.
Darren Bailey puts his beliefs before my health, and I fundamentally disagree with him on that.
I'm Greg Bishop.
A topless beach in Evanston is one step closer to reality. Evanston City Council Human Services Committee this week advanced a plan to allow women to go topless at city beaches. Alderman who proposed the idea saying it's not about topless beaches, but about equality. Chicago sports. White Sox beat the Mariners 9-6. Southsiders are 2 games back of Cleveland. They're in Oakland later tonight, while the Cubs lost to the Reds 7-1. 2022 NFL regular season kicks off tonight as the defending Super Bowl champion Rams host Buffalo. The Bears getting set for the 49ers this Sunday. The news service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. Subscribe free, 560theanswer.com/podcast. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Show.
Joe Biden is going to use this now to take away your rights. He's upset about the AR-15. He's not upset about any of this. An opportunist looking to con people. So this is going to be used to take away your civil liberties. What he doesn't understand is what he's doing to this nation. The collapse of the economy has already caused massive crime spike, massive unrest. Just take a look at a Democrat-run sewer city like Chicago.
The Sean Thompson Show, weekday afternoons at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
The global economic group headed by China and Russia, called BRICS, is dedicated to challenging the dollar. This means the dollar will be further damaged, and along with it, the purchasing power of Americans. This is Stephen K. Bennett. I want to remind you that you can still protect your hard-earned savings from world events. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To claim your free info kit on gold IRAs, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898. It's critical you get this information before the dollar is further eroded and you lose even more of your hard-earned money. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required. Take action today.
One of the things we have learned in the past year, technology is a must. You must have good data and cell service inside your building. Do you have bad service? Let's fix that. This is Kelly Piles. My company is PC Net Services. We fix that bad data and cellular connection inside your building and stop the complaints. It's not as complicated as you might think, but it does make a difference. We work with all major cellular carriers and data communications companies across the nation. We can improve your cellular and data signal in your building with every carrier. No more dropped calls, no more complaints. First responders, firefighters, and government agencies have used us to create a better cellular signal inside their building. We could do the same for you. A veteran-owned company, PC Net Services, connecting you to the world.
Get better cell service in your building, no matter which carrier. For a free analysis, call PC Net Services, 815-545-4439, 815-545-4439.
7:07, and a check on the morning roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. This look at traffic is a service of the AM 560s, is by Salem Surround. Go to surroundchicago.com today, and by the 100 Club of Illinois, honoring those in public safety, police, and fire, and remembering the lives given in the line of duty in 2022 at the annual Raising Hope Awards Gala. Tickets at 100clubil.org. Inbound Edens, 29 minutes from Lake Cook Road into the junction. Kennedy inbound, it's an hour from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike at an hour 10 from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson, 1 hour from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And the Dan Ryan, it's a half an hour, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Lots of sun today, the high at 83. Clear tonight, low 62. And then sunny and warm tomorrow, the high 85. Clear skies for tomorrow night, low 65. And then warm on Saturday, periods of clouds and sun, the high 83. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
62 at O'Hare, 65 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Some handy-dandy research from our friends Ted Dabrowski and John Klingler over at wirepoints.com. Here's Chicago, a snapshot of Chicago after 3 years of Pritzker and Lightfoot. 250 children in Chicago have been murdered since 2018. 250, 50 of them under the age of 11. 250, 50 under the age of 11.
Jesus.
Carjackings. The number has hit 1,200 so far this year. One carjacking every 5 hours. It's going to be an all-time new record. Triple the rate just 3 years ago. And 3/4 of those carjackings, 3/4 of those 1,200 carjackings?
Let me guess, are juveniles.
No. Well, they're aggravated, meaning, generally speaking, the use of a weapon.
Right, a weapon drawn.
Right. We're tracking for 2,000. So 2,000 carjackings, and 3/4 of which so far, so that percentage holds up, are aggravated. 1,500 people will have their cars stolen at the point of a gun or some other threat of violence. And, of course, we know this other piece of the story. In 2021, total priority 1 and 2 911 calls, 788,000. No police available for 406,000 of those 788,000 calls. 52%. 52% of priority 1 and 2 calls, these are emergency calls. 52% no police available. Probably has something to do with the fact that we're down 2,000 police since Lori Lightfoot took office. And it keeps going and going and going. And what they're planning on doing, well, what Pritzker and the Democrats are planning on doing with the Safety Act, meaning the release of violent criminals with no bail, no condition, the further defenestration of police to be able to defend themselves, much less pursue alleged criminals. They're going to scale what's happening in Chicago statewide. And again, not me saying it, that's your local county prosecutor in 100 of Illinois' 102 counties. Those are your local sheriffs all over the state. And they talk to your local judges all over the state. They're all saying the same thing. Republicans, Democrats, black, white, Latino, Asian, other. That's where public safety is in this state under this governor, and where it is in Chicago and Cook County under Lightfoot and Fox. Well, what can be done about it at the state level? It seems like an opportune time to hear an alternative. Darren Bailey is a state senator from Southern Illinois. He's also the Republican nominee for governor. And just in the interest of full disclosure, since I know full disclosure doesn't mean anything to the Chicago Press Corps, everything I do is a surprise to them, despite how many times I disclose it. I supported Darren Bailey through the super PAC that I run in the primary, and I'm supporting him through the super PAC that I run in the general, too, just to make sure.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Nobody gets blindsided by this reality after how many millions of dollars I've spent. Okay. State Senator Darren Bailey, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. And yeah, full disclosure, you've supported me since day one. So
that's true.
Primary election of 2018, and we worked our tails off, and you got the truth out there, and that we were able to get a tax hiking Republican out of office. And seems to me that the biggest news of the day is it's truth. As you just said, full disclosure, these newspapers that are circulating the state that are full of facts and truth, and Governor Pritzker has the gall to call it a lie, to keep the people uninformed. And what you were stating and talking about at the beginning of this, our state is being destroyed from the inside out. Lives are at risk; they're being lost, and Governor Pritzker just simply desires to call that all false, fake, a lie, and turn his head. And I think as people are becoming aware of the truth, they're waking up. We're feeling that all over this state.
So a first order priority for you as governor would be to move to repeal the Safety Act. What else?
We've got to repeal the Safety Act and restore no cash bail. And I met with the sheriffs 2 days ago in Springfield, and I mean this is devastating. People have no idea what's coming January 1st. They want to know, and we're seeing that taking place in Chicago, and they wonder why that is being allowed. It's because the no cash bail practically exists here. When you have a prosecutor that will not prosecute crime, and with Kim Fox, and when you have police who are hindered and cannot do their job, and as you suggested, almost 2,000 vacancies, we have got to restore law and order. So when we reprioritize this $46.5 billion budget, then we begin to find that we've got money to support and rebuild our police force and restore law and order on our streets.
But I just find it so interesting because Superintendent Brown, the Chicago Police's top cop, he's against the Safety Act. So I think these people think, well, that won't happen, or we'll see, wait and see. Well, it's coming. And I don't understand.
It's been signed into law.
I know, but I'm just saying it's going to take place January 1st, and they all have their heads in their sand thinking, well, that's not really going to happen. So what is going to happen come January 1st, 2023?
Well, the Safety Act is obviously going to eliminate cash bail all over the state. And see, that's going to be a bigger problem than a lot of people realize, not only allowing criminals on the street, but it's going to force local counties to raise property taxes to keep the courthouse open, because right now that is a major source of the funding. When people break the law and have to pay bail, that's got to be replaced. More criminals will be released on the streets. The act micromanages law enforcement by limiting them so they cannot pursue dangerous criminals. A lot of people don't even realize this. This act allows unsworn and anonymous complaints to be filed against law enforcement. So can you imagine what this is going to be like whenever, anyone who's ticked off at a police officer continually day by day calls in and offers complaints to the police forces, and that has to be followed up. And it literally, this is designed to decimate law and order in this country, and that is really that is the only goal. Our prisons are being cleansed. We've been meeting with many AFSCME groups with as well. So,
well, I hope those AFSCME bargaining units, the prison guards and whatnot, I hope they're going to revolt against their public sector union leadership and vote for you and other Republicans. Because the public sector unions, their representation is part of the problem in this state.
You're exactly right, and I am anticipating that, Dan. And unions as a whole, they're just not being represented properly by these union bosses. And then even here within the state of Illinois, this pension crisis, hands down, was created by career politicians and union bosses. So, and I think people are realizing that, because that's what we've been communicating now for over 2 years. And again, with the help of Ted Dabrowski and Wire Points and these newspapers that are circulating across the state now, they've got these facts in them, and it's awesome, because every day when people are receiving this, they're texting me this information. I mean, I've been trying to expel this and talk about this for 2 years, but it's finally getting out and it's finally resonating.
Something else that's a law and order issue that's come to the fore because of Texas Governor Greg Abbott sending a few busloads of migrants up to Chicago, sanctuary city that's located in a sanctuary state called Illinois. This tweet I found interesting from Raul Ortiz. Raul Ortiz is the United States Border Patrol's chief. He's the chief of the United States Border Patrol. A chief of the Border Patrol under this president, President Biden, okay? He tweeted out 3-day recap. 71 pounds of meth, 100 pills of fentanyl, 2,690 migrants, 10 large groups, 10 sex offenders, 4 gangbangers, 1 murderer, 1 injury to a child, 91 rescues. He writes in summary, the dangers are real. Great work by our agents. So, all the hue and cry over a couple of busloads of migrants that had been vetted by Texas authorities and sent up to Chicago to make a point about sanctuary cities and sanctuary states as compared to what these communities and states at the border are experiencing. And you've seen big sanctuary city and sanctuary state politicians like Pritzker and Lightfoot and Adams in New York and Hochul in New York and Bowser in D.C., crying foul over this. And yet you hear from President Biden's chief of the United States Border Patrol what's actually happening at the border, just a 3-day snapshot. Seems to me that part of the law and order message also has to do with rescinding Illinois' designation as a sanctuary state.
Absolutely. That was egregious. So when that was allowed, and, I don't care who you are, when you see these people getting off these buses and they're illegal, they're here in our country illegally, and they're dressed to the hilt in new clothing and given food and whatever they need. And you don't have to walk very far anywhere in Chicago and see the homeless problem that we have. You don't have to have too many conversations with people who are here right now struggling to earn their citizenship legally. Something terribly is wrong. And again, law enforcement as a whole has been decimated because law enforcement officials cannot do their job. So those days must come to an end. And as we continue to educate people and really pressing down on that on these next 2 months of letting them know that Governor Pritzker has single-handedly created every bit of these problems, this situation with law enforcement, with his Safety Act, with his no tax bail, with the many other bills that he has signed into law and helped push. This man is responsible for the breakdown of law and order. And come January 1st, a lot of what we're talking about is taking place in the Chicago area right now. Come January 1st, this is going to be a problem statewide. People don't realize that a simple offense of trespassing in your house, on your yard, in your business, the law enforcement can only stand there by this Safety Act and write a warning. That's all that they can do. They cannot forcefully remove these people. So we've got a pretty dire situation on our hands, and the people have got to get engaged and understand what's going on and show up to vote for change.
And now the Parental Notification Act, obviously you'd sign that right away when you would become governor. But abortion rights, and people don't understand that there are no restrictions on abortions. And even 72% or 78% of the Democrats want some restrictions on abortion. And I know that you've been hit hard about incest and rape, and I just want to know where you stand on that.
I'm going to tell you what, Amy, people need to realize that all this fear-mongering that J.B. Pritzker is doing, that's exactly what he's doing. He's not talking about the issues of crime, taxes, and our failed education. He refuses to talk about that because he has created that problem. But instead, he wants to fearmonger and let people assume or think that something crazy is going to happen or change in Illinois, when the reality is nothing's going to change. When you look at our political climate of how things are made up, nothing's going to change. Governor Pritzker wants to divide us with these issues, but instead we need to be working on what unites us. And everyone across the state, especially our friends right here in Chicago, they're concerned about their safety. And yeah, you may not be so concerned about it on the Gold Coast or downtown, but if you want to get a hold of me and you want to follow me into some of these churches and areas and Humboldt Park and Garfield Park and some of these areas that Cindy and I have been attending and having meetings at, and you look out and there's police sitting on every corner and monitoring the situation, and families won't let their children walk out in the streets. Well, there's where the problems are at. Our problems with our failed colleges and our failed schools. Governor Pritzker doesn't want to talk about any of that, but instead he wants to push these social issues, and people need to realize nothing's going to change. But I have been very adamant that there is no reason in the world why we Illinoisans, our tax money, should be paying for abortion. So two things, restoring parental notification and getting rid of taxpayer-funded abortion, those two items will be front and center on my agenda on day one as governor.
And those are two items, parental notification and taxpayer funding, that are supported by a supermajority of Illinois families. I mean, that's really where it's at. And this is, it seems to me, what needs to get out is that there's, a belief system, and then there's what you can practically and pragmatically do that has popular support, and that's what you're talking about.
No, that's exactly right. And if people want to, as a governor, it's Pritzker's showing us how this shouldn't work with all this 33 now executive orders straight. This man's a tyrant, and he's proven it in his actions. If the General Assembly wants to get together and pass laws, regarding some of these issues of which he's issuing these executive orders, then that is what is supposed to happen. And so it is with these social issues. Until there's, a majority of one way or the other, and the General Assembly comes in to convene and change some of the laws and change some of the things, and that's the time when, I'll have the opportunity to look at and consider that many of these issues are indeed laws. The laws are on the books, and you mentioned something that's kind of interesting, that many Democrats now are kind of taking a look at this situation and realizing that, well, maybe full-term abortion isn't something I'm interested in. I've had a lot of conversations with those people, but again, it's been Governor Pritzker that has allowed that in April and May of 2019, and anyway, he's got a lot of junk on his hands that we need to clean up.
On the economic front, you have a state that's, even in a low unemployment environment, Illinois still leads the Midwest in unemployment, as it has for a long time. We still maintain our title as the state with the highest combined state and local tax burden, and yet Pritzker is running around talking about all the supposed tax relief that he's provided. He doubles the gas tax and then temporarily suspends the inflationary incremental increase and calls that tax relief. How do you sense from being on the trail that people are receiving what they're getting from Pritzker? Do they understand the misinformation, dare I say, that he's spewing, or is there still work to do there?
Well, there's still work to do there. People are fed up, but people are buying into this nonsense that their vote doesn't count. It's almost this apathy of giving up. I do sense that a lot. But as we roll through many of these communities, we were in Frankfurt last night, and that's our battle cry. When we're with a group of 50 to 200 to 300 or more people, I implore the people, when you walk out these doors, you've got a mission. You've got to get people registered to vote. You've got to get them to show up to vote, help educate them to vote. But Dan and Amy, there's a lot of apathy out there that just, my vote doesn't matter, and it's just the way it is, and I'll deal with it. When I can, I'll move out of the state, but it doesn't have to be this way. It can be different. Good grief, when I ran for state rep in 2018, the Illinois budget was $32 billion, and now it is at $46.5 billion. There's a common sense solution, and it's called, a zero-based budget. It's put men and women in charge of these agencies who have common sense, and they'll develop their own budgets so that people can see what they're actually paying for. And we're going to discover a lot of waste out of that, and that's how we're going to start rebuilding this process.
He is Darren Bailey. He's the Republican. He's the state senator, and he's also the Republican nominee for governor. For more information on his campaign, get involved if you'd like. BaileyForIllinois.com. That's BaileyForIllinois.com. Darren Bailey, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
2021 marked Chicago's deadliest year in a quarter century. Crimes and gang-related violence continue to increase year over year. We can stop this violent cycle by implementing trade schools for young adults, former inmates, and other Chicagoans to learn valuable skills, providing opportunity, education, and economic empowerment. Choose Dr. Willie Wilson as mayor so we can keep Chicago safe together.
I approve this message. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Illinois' population loss was the third worst amongst U.S. states from July 2020 to July 2021. 2,400 businesses in the Chicago area will never reopen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As mayor, Dr. Willie Wilson will work hard to restore Chicago by lowering taxes to keep people in the city, helping small businesses get back on their feet, and expanding access to infrastructure. Dr. Willie Wilson, leading Chicago to a better tomorrow.
I approve this message.
Cracked or sunken driveway? Call Permaseal. Sidewalk or stoop unlevel? Call Permaseal. Patio or garage floor sinking? Well, you know who to call. Permaseal can raise and level sunken concrete quickly and efficiently at a fraction of the cost of replacement. 800-421-SEAL for that free inspection. Their poly-level solution will put an end to dangerous trip hazards and eyesores. And folks, it's the quickest, least expensive, and most durable system to repair your sunken concrete. There's never been a better time to contact Permaseal. Permaseal has proudly served the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana homeowners for over 40 years, but don't take my word for it. No. Check out their nearly 7,000 reviews with both the BBB and Google reviews. Don't replace it, raise it. Contact Permaseal 800-421-7325 for your free inspection, or visit permaseal.net and be sure to ask about their financing options up to 48 months.
And now, a special announcement from the Mancini Law Group. Over the course of 4 decades, contaminated drinking water at North Carolina's U.S. Marine Corps base, Camp Lejeune, put hundreds of thousands of people at risk for cancer and other serious illnesses. If you or a loved one lived, worked, or were present at Camp Lejeune for at least 30 days between August 1st, 1953 and December 31st, 1987, and developed cancer or a serious illness due to the base's toxic water supply, you could be eligible for substantial financial compensation. This also applies to individuals who were in utero during the aforementioned time period. Don't just call any toll-free number. Call the Mancini Law Group. They're a quality local law firm that will give your case the attention it deserves. Contact the Mancini Law Group today for a no-cost case evaluation at 773-745-1909. That's 773-745-1909. Again, 773-745-1909. Or online at mancinilaw.com. That's mancinilaw.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, does he still have your support, Dan?
Yeah, Willie Wilson, businessman and mayoral candidate, he's also taking it up. He's got an issue with the Chicago Board of Elections comparing what they're doing to Jim Crow. He may get labeled as a MAGA extremist if he's not careful, taking on an election authority. We'll talk to Willie Wilson, 737.
But now straight into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
62 degrees, sunshine at 7:32. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Kiev, Ukraine. A surprise visit and bringing with him about $2 billion in long-term support. A 19-year-old Memphis man is charged with first-degree murder, accused of killing 4 during a shooting rampage. Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis.
2 weapons were visible inside the vehicle where Kelly was. The Homicide Division and other investigative units are actively working these crime scenes now, and numerous felony charges are pending.
Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland says Ezekiel Kelly was sentenced to 3 years in prison for multiple charges stemming from an arrest in 2020, but served just 11 months and then was released.
These evil actions show why truth in sentencing is a must, and we should do all we can to make our city safe.
Kelly apparently was shooting people at random and live streaming the shooting spree. 1 person is dead, 2 others wounded following a shootout on Chicago's west side. A man and another person arguing early this morning when both pulled out firearms and exchanged gunfire. A man charged in a double murder in Highland Park is due in bond court today. 2 were found dead inside of a home yesterday, and Barry Goldberg was arrested. The names of the victims have yet to be released. A man is critically wounded following a shooting on a CTA Red Line train in Chicago's South Loop. The victim was on the train last night when someone shot him in the neck. Former singer R. Kelly's former business manager says he didn't believe claims from decades ago that the singer sexually abused underage girls. Testifying yesterday in front of a federal jury, Daryl McDavid said he was convinced the allegations were just part of a plot orchestrated by the singer's, quote, enemies, end quote, to destroy him. White Sox beat the Mariners 9-6. Cubs lost to the Reds 7-1. Blackhawks had plenty of time on national TV this season, the team announcing 13 of its games will be broadcast to the country. The news, a service of Dan and Amy 24/7, around the clock all day, every day, danamy247.com. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants us to prepare.
We have a battle ahead of us. We have turmoil in America. We've got to be ready to fight, not physically, but at the ballot box, with ideas, with logic, with wisdom, with clarity. I know this.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
School has started. The nights are getting cooler. The sun is getting lower on the horizon every day. Winter is coming and coming fast. Keeping your business's doors and gates working properly to keep out the extreme weather is a major concern. Your business can't afford a loss of income or productivity. Think ahead before Old Man Winter arrives and call Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. for your commercial door maintenance and security tune-up now. You can't always plan when your doors break down, and it always seems to come at the least convenient time. Industrial Door Company will ensure your doors, grills, and gates are working to specification and give you advice on how to increase the life of your doors. See a range of products and services at industrialdoor.com and call anytime 847-258-5620. Their team will be there before the extreme cold weather causes financial losses for your company. Since 1982, the Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. takes care of your doors so you can take care of business. Service and installation positions available now. The following is a paid political announcement.
Darren Bailey isn't popular with the political establishment of either party because he's from the real world.
I'm proud to be a family farmer. We get up before the sun comes up, and we work until after it goes down. We fix things that are broken. We solve problems, and we grow things. And I love to remind people what farmers do. They feed the world.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
Bailey got involved in state politics by opposing the income tax increase signed by the previous Republican governor, and then led the opposition to the income tax increase proposed by the current Democrat governor, because high taxes are driving families from Illinois. We tried billionaires from both parties. They left us with high taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try? Paid for by people who play by the rules PAC.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a physician. I've been in practice for 40 years. And when I started taking this, I don't like medicines, and I probably have taken more people off medicine than I put on it. And so I looked at it, and it's pretty much a natural element. And there's no question in my mind, knowing a lot of patients, that people my age, 60 and over, do not eat right. And they certainly don't get the appropriate nutrients through the vegetables, fruits, and things like that. So I think that it supplies the building blocks that your body normally would use to heal itself. And if you don't get them, you don't heal right. So it's amazing. I mean, I'm doing what I did 2 years ago.
Start your journey to better health. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping. And don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
Our semi-annual sale event has arrived. Save big on PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
7:38, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this look at the roads is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. Inbound on the Edens Expressway, 39 minutes, Lake Cook Road into the junction. Kennedy inbound, it is we'll call it an hour 20 right now, from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange and climbing. Ike inbound is at an hour 16 from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson right now is at an hour 12 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive in the Dan Ryan. 29 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Brilliant sunshine today, high 83. Worried about basement flooding? Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. 62 in sunshine. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, turning our attention from the governor's race to the mayor's race. Essentially concurrent races, as our listeners certainly know. Primary in February. Willie Wilson, who is running again, you've heard his ads on our airwaves. He has filed a lawsuit against the Chicago Board of Elections because he says their plan to consolidate precincts to save a few bucks is a throwback to Jim Crow days.
Uh-oh. No.
Oh, boy. I came into Chicago in 1965, he told the Chicago Crusader newspaper. The year the Civil Rights Act was signed, I couldn't vote when I was down south. Yes, what the Board of Election Commissioners is doing reminds me of Jim Crow, the Old South, and voter suppression, but this time by a black woman because the mayor and the city council control the Board of Elections budget. Well, let's ask him for more detail on that provocative comparison to Jim Crow. Willie Wilson is a Chicago businessman, and he is a candidate for mayor again this cycle. Willie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you all for taking time to give me a buzz and having me here. Hello to both of you all this morning. I haven't talked to you in a long, it's 3 or 4 years, I believe.
So what's going on here? Because You save a little money. You eliminate a few polling places. The city continues to lose population. So, I mean, to some extent, it would stand to reason. What's the problem?
Well, I think that if you're going to have to take there and close down some polling places, why would you do it, where a month or 2 months or 3 months from the election day? People that need to be able to find a poll and know where to vote at. Why would you do it then? I mean, so if you're going to do it, wait till, let's say, April or May or something like that.
You need more notice. People need more notice.
Right.
So even if there's confusion, I mean, do you think this suppresses your voters, or you just think it suppresses voters and you don't like that because you want everybody to vote who wants to vote?
Well, I think a little bit of both, because you look at the map in some of the areas from my research and we've done, you got some areas that not as many cut out and others maybe a little bit more. But I think everybody should have a right to vote, not to be confused, because if you go to a poll and all of a sudden you can't vote and they say you go to another area, well, you get there, the line going to be longer. It confuses you. You're going to decide probably not to vote. Then you got the inflation with food, particularly our senior citizens, who vote more than anybody. They don't have the disposable income to take and go to one place, then turn around and catch a bus and go to another place. So there's just a lot wrong with this right here. So that's why I filed the lawsuit to try to stop it. I don't think that it's so much like about Jim Crow days. I here again. I couldn't vote down south. So when I got into Chicago, this is how they were old enough to vote. We voted.
Right.
And then so it's just bigger than a mayoral election to me. I wouldn't care about the mayor if I had to make a choice, mayor or vote. I would take the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much bigger than that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have marched and died for the right to vote. And I think you should be to save $2 million. I mean, that's nothing there. I mean, she took $2 million from the taxpayers trying to help her on election.
Well, the $2 million too. I mean, with under the auspices of saving a couple of $1 million, and we have this story about a couple of weeks ago about schools, CPS schools that are at like a fraction of capacity, 5, 10, 15% of student capacity. But and I understand there's a state law that prevents closing any additional schools until 2025, which, of course, is a sop to the teachers union. But I mean, it's just the idea that this is where they're really going to focus on trying to save a few bucks when you see testaments to wasteful government all over the city. I mean, I agree with you that it's a curious case that they're making. Yeah, we're going to do it here by consolidating a few polling places, and that saves $2 million. This is where we're concerned about efficiency, government efficiency.
Well, now look at it this way too. If it were down in Georgia, for example, and a Republican was doing it,
they'd be
calling like mad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, but this is Democrat here doing what they're accusing the Republican doing. It is wrong all the way around, but you ought to be taking and finding money to open up more polls and just to get people to vote.
Yeah. Oh, all right. All right. Well, let's talk about the mayor's race a little bit more globally now. It seems almost like a repeat of 4 years ago. You don't have legacy names like Daley or Joyce in the race, but you've got, I don't know, what are we up to? A dozen candidates? 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. So it's going to be a crowded field again. Why do you think this is going to work out better for you against incumbent Lightfoot than it did as a fellow challenger, as a challenger to her when the seat was open 4 years ago?
Well, first of all, I don't have a problem with me running, and we lost the last couple of times with the mayoral thing. You got to realize, I always tell everybody this too. Abraham Lincoln ran 21 times and lost before he became president of the United States, right? Those people who failed are the ones who never get up and keep going and keep trying. Today, with everything chaos with the crime in Chicago and the taxes, as long as I have enough resources in my own personal pocket, I'm gonna get out and fight for the people in terms of the taxes, the crime. Population of the city is going down because people can't afford the taxes, losing their home, or they're going shopping in now a neighbor state like Indiana and things of that nature.
Well, wait, Willie,
Why should I?
I do have to interrupt. I just want to give you a warning. You've raised the issue of crime. When I raise the issue of crime, I get called a racist by the mayor. So I don't want and the governor. I don't want you to be called a racist. I don't want you to be smeared by your assation with me by coming on this show.
Your sarcasm is thick. Yes.
So just be careful talking about crime. That's off limits. You're not supposed to talk about that.
No, I'm going to talk about crime because.
Well, what's your solution? I mean, and is Chicago a hellhole?
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I'll give my analysis of it. I still believe in the situation I came up with last time. We were talking about the 4 different police superintendents split the city in 4 different segments. But only thing now we go a little bit further. You got to also and hold them accountable. You cannot make the police office mad and they turn your back on you. How you gonna take care of the work and try to take care of the problem? Well, why are you going to have 72, I believe, 71 or 72 police around your house, and why don't you get some of them out to protect some of the citizens? The crime situation in Chicago will always be here unless you're able to take and solve these neighborhood problems by reinvesting into those communities in a way of a foundation, meaning that if kids go to school, before they should be able to graduate from school, they should have some type of trade skill. Education alone just will not do it. We should make that a requirement. We got to figure out them grant and put them into trade school. When they finish, they can get a good job, or they can do business.
So
you cannot make it.
So you want more vocational options for kids that are not going to college at the CPS level. That's what you're saying.
That's absolutely right, because you do not have the skill. We in those neighborhoods do not have the skills to get out and get good paying jobs, and that create crime into those neighborhoods that move downtown and out in other parts of the neighborhood and things of that nature as well. So you never will stop unless you go to the root of the problem.
When it comes to dealing with the immediacy, though, of the violence and protecting people across the city, the argument's made that we're 1,500 to 2,000 cops light. We need that many more police to cover the city in a way that prevents crime through police presence, particularly in those neighborhoods that have been beset by violent crime for some time. What do you say to that? As mayor, are you willing to figure out how to put more cops on the job and back their play so that good cops are encouraged to go through the academy, or good people are encouraged to go through the academy and become good cops?
Well, I say this much here to you is that you need to, I said before, you need to take the handcuff off the cop and put them on the crook. Mm-hmm. And you need to lock them up, the people who doing the crime. And if they let them back out, you need to lock them up again. You got to use common sense and stop this stuff crime. The first responder have to have the right to protect themselves and to do the right thing with common sense. Right now, there's no common sense into it. Why, if a person walk up to a person and hit a person on the street, and knock them in the head and run, if the police officer's there, you telling me you can't chase that person down? That don't make no kind of sense. Today they got the police officer too afraid to do anything, because if they did, they gotta maybe get fired or be press charges or something like that. The citizens too scared to come downtown or leave out their house. It should be the other way around. It should be the crook should be scared of the cop and the community. You got to hold people accountable. You have to get a lot more tougher with this situation out here, because otherwise than that, it's gonna continue to happen. So I'm for supporting the police officer with not defunding the police office. I'm for giving them more money, hire more police, bring the ones back that are retired out here. And another thing, I think they don't make enough money. They got to have the off days. The morale is low. How are you going to have a good police force with all this stuff going on? This mayor you got now is over her head. She just don't know, in my opinion, what she is doing.
Yeah. And this, we're remaining times I have wanted to ask you about school choice. Are you for it or against it?
Well, I think, look, I am. I think everybody should have a choice to go wherever they can afford to go to. All right, that's one of our given right. You can't knock it. Anything you should have a given right. Everything should be work equally and try to work out in that respect. Chicago school right now is it's tough. I would probably want my kid to go to a private school, or if I could afford it, if I had a kid in school. Yeah. So yeah, I support that, because we have to get the education level up. More money should be put into police officers, fire department. More money should be put in our schools and things of that nature. If you recall, when they didn't have face masks, I gave away 40 or 50 or 60 face masks to the police, the firemen, and to the neighborhood. Every 50 wards in Chicago, all around the whole state. Went down in California and did the same thing. Because Chicago couldn't take care of its citizens, and then nor the mayor or the governor said thank you. All right, so it's an attitude that the people have, and so if they got these type of attitude, and the first responder doesn't respect you and turn your back on you, how you gonna straighten up a city?
How much?
How you gonna run it?
How much are you willing to spend on this campaign this time around of your own money, and is it more or less than you're willing to spend on buying gas for other people?
Well, let me back up there and say, look, I've been giving money away since 1985. You look in the Wall Street Journal in 1996, front page article on me giving away money. I want to help people with gas and food, because it's unnecessary to do that right now, versus I was giving it away to other areas like the churches, the people down on the viaduct and things of that nature, and put my money in other places. But because so many people are asking me to help them get gas and get to work, and so many people ask for food, and we still got more to do, I just did my resources. I'm not criticizing you. I think it's great. All that the side but this buying vote stuff that you get criticized with, I think it's a bunch of nonsense. So no, I think it's great. Right.
I think it's great, actually. But what about but the serious piece of it, the campaign? I mean, in order to go toe to toe and be on TV, how much you gonna spend? Yeah. I would spend. Well, how much money I put in there? I believe so far I put in my campaign something like $6 million my own money. Mm-hmm. I told somebody, I think it was sometime, they asked me the question. I said, well, if I got to come up with another $2 or $3 million, I said, I don't suppose that'd be a problem, But I intend to do what it takes financially. So, in answer to your question, if I need to put in another $3. Then I'll do that. But I don't even think going to even take that much. I really don't. We got a good ground team out. We got advertising out. The other people, guys out here right now, some of them in a race that should not be in a race, because it takes money to run a race. Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
He is Willie Wilson. Don't you wish you could say that, Amy? It's just like, well, if it's going to take another $2 or $3 million, I mean, I guess I could do that. I mean, just be.
I'd love to be in that position right now.
Well, you got to work harder like Willie did, and then you could have that money.
Exactly. He's got a great heart.
Willie Wilson, he's a successful Chicago businessman, obviously. He's candidate for mayor again. For more information on his campaign, electwilliewilson.com. Electwilliewilson.com is the website. Willie, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you. God bless. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad, just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early-stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Here's another 120 Life testimonial from John Anthony's listeners.
I think he's trying to steal your deal.
Maybe. Right out from underneath me. But it's good, though. Hey, I appreciate it.
Unfortunately, I got so stressed out at work this week that I don't know if you want to call it an impulse buy, but I guess all the dance commercials and you talking about it for the last couple Saturdays paid off because I went and I bought a supply. I'm going to give it a try. I'm like you. I will see, but it certainly can't hurt because those ingredients are good for you, and they'll be good for other things in our body too.
It's very nice. Appreciate the help and support from John Anthony and his listeners. September is the perfect time for you to hit the reset button, set new goals for yourself because it's National Self-Improvement Month. Of course it is.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
What color am I wearing? What ribbon?
It's an annual personal checkup opportunity is what it is. Volunteer, adopt a new exercise routine, read a book. There's a novel idea. Improve your overall health. On the latter, here's a suggestion, 120 Life. 120 Life is my go-to juice that helps control my blood pressure. Drink it every day. Can't stop raving about it. Love it. Know you will too, especially if you have high blood pressure. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com and use the coupon code DAN10 to save 10% on your order plus free shipping. Again, that's 120life.com, 120life.com. 120 Life makes it easy to manage high blood pressure. Try it today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Subsidizing Addiction with Judge Glock at 8:08.
But now it is 8 a.m. You're listening to AM 560 WIND Chicago.
There is royal worry in Britain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, about Queen Elizabeth's health.
We send our best wishes to Her Majesty the Queen, and that she and the royal family are in our thoughts and prayers at this moment.
That's Lindsay Hoyle, the UK Parliament leader.
Buckingham Palace says doctors are, quote, concerned for Her Majesty's health, and they're keeping a close eye on Queen Elizabeth. The announcement comes a day after the Queen, who is 96, canceled a council meeting and was told to rest. The palace statement says she is comfortable at Balmoral Castle, where she has spent the summer.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Queen Elizabeth has been on the throne for 70 years, longer than any other British king or queen. Britain's new prime minister, who just took over after meeting with the Queen the other day, Liz Truss, is imposing a cap on energy prices for homes and businesses in Britain to deal with inflation the day after Russia's leader, Vladimir Putin,
called the idea of gas price caps, quote, stupid, and threatened to shut off the taps altogether if Europe decides on a strict limit above which they won't pay for their needed energy supplies.
Fox's Amy Kellogg. Now, the U.S. is going to help Ukraine fight off Russia's invasion even more with even more weapons and ammo and aid.
In a surprise visit to Kyiv today, Secretary Anthony Blinken unveiling the latest
latest aid package. The $2 billion will go to long-term foreign military financing for Ukraine and 18 neighboring countries that include NATO members and other security partners.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. A 19-year-old's behind bars in Memphis, Tennessee, accused of going on an hours-long shooting rampage, recording and posting some of it online. He killed 4 people, police say, and wounded 3 until he was stopped. The suspect, Ezekiel Kelly.
I'm angry for our citizens who had to shelter in place for their own safety until this suspect was caught.
Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland. America's listening to Fox News.
62 degrees and sunshine. 8:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 1 is dead, 2 others wounded. It all follows a shootout on Chicago's west side early this morning in the 5800 block of West Madison. A man, Barry Goldberg, charged in a double murder in Highland Park, is due in bond court today. Officials say police found 2 dead inside of a home yesterday in the 1800 block of Green Bay Road. A man critically wounded following a shooting on a CTA Red Line train in Chicago's South Loop. Area 3 detectives currently investigating. Chicago welcoming another group of migrants from the Texas border, the 3rd time. Texas officials have sent busloads of immigrants to Chicago in a week. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has been sending the illegal immigrants to Democrat-led sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York over problems with President Biden's border policy on the border with Mexico. Chicago City Council exodus continues. On Wednesday, Alderman Howard Brookins of the 21st Ward announced his plan to retire at the end of his term. Privately, many members are now saying it's Mayor Lightfoot's combative style that is prompting them to resign or retire. White Sox beat the Mariners 9-6. Cubs left 9 men on base in a 7-1 loss to the Reds. The News, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stock futures are little changed. The major averages rose yesterday. There's speculation the markets were oversold after 3 weekly losses. Investors will hear more about the economy today from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who takes part in a Cato Institute discussion. The Fed's latest Beige Book report from its 12 districts found businesses expecting to see softening of demand over the next 6 to 12 months. There were mixed readings of slight to modest growth or softening. Apple decided to freeze prices for new iPhones. Barron says the strategy is to get you to consider an upgrade. Apple has greater control over its supply chain, which means it may be able to absorb costs. Some analysts think Apple is vulnerable in a recession, and its shares have been shrinking since mid-August. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't fall for the tricks.
My friends, the climate issue is an excuse to give government more and more power. It's based on gobbledygook that we could live on wind and solar. Live on wind and solar power. Where is that happening in the world? Where is that happening? They're not serious about climate change. They're serious about revolution.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
2021 marked Chicago's deadliest year in a quarter century. Crimes and gang-related violence continue to increase year over year. We can stop this violent cycle by implementing trade schools for young adults, former inmates, and other Chicagoans to learn valuable skills, providing opportunity, education, and economic empowerment. Choose Dr. Willie Wilson as mayor so we can keep Chicago safe together.
I approve this message. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Illinois' population loss was the 3rd worst amongst U.S. states from July 2020 to July 2021. 2,400 businesses in the Chicago area will never reopen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As mayor, Dr. Willie Wilson will work hard to restore Chicago by lowering taxes to keep people in the city, helping small businesses get back on their feet, and expanding access to infrastructure. Dr. Willie Wilson, leading Chicago to a better tomorrow.
I approve this message.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Darren Bailey isn't popular with the political establishment of either party because he's from the real world.
I'm proud to be a family farmer. We get up before the sun comes up, and we work until after it goes down. We fix things that are broken. We solve problems, and we grow things. And I love to remind people what farmers do. They feed the world.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
Bailey got involved in state politics by opposing the income tax increase signed by the previous Republican governor, and then led the opposition to the income tax increase proposed by the current Democrat governor, because high taxes are driving families from Illinois. We tried billionaires from both parties. They left us with high taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try? Paid for by people who play by the rules PAC.
The global economic group headed by China and Russia, called BRICS, is dedicated to challenging the dollar. This means the dollar will be further damaged, and along with it, the purchasing power of Americans. This is Stephen K. Bennett. I want to remind you that you can still protect your hard-earned savings from world events. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To claim your free info kit on gold IRAs, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898. It's critical you get this information before the dollar is further eroded and you lose even more of your hard-earned money. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required. Take action today.
8:08. And a check on the morning roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. And this update is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device, or text the word app to 64636. Inbound Eden, solid between Toohey and the junction, 40 minutes in from Lake Cook Road. Kennedy inbound, 73 minutes from O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. Eisenhower on the inbound side at, we'll call it 90 minutes, an hour and a half from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson is under an hour from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and the Dan Ryan is at 27 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Today, sunshine and the high at 83. Clear tonight, low 62. Sunny, warm day tomorrow, the high 85. And then tomorrow night, clear skies, low 65. Partly sunny, warm day on Saturday, the high at 83. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
66 at O'Hare, 69 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Reading from the summer edition of City Journal about addiction, particularly in consideration of the homeless problem that you see in major cities around the country and the disturbing spike in overdose deaths in this country, mostly fentanyl related.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Glock writes in this piece, Subsidizing Addiction, if anyone wonders why, say, Los Angeles suffers around 2,000 homeless deaths a year, quadruple the level of a decade ago. Quadruple. If anyone wonders why Los Angeles suffers around 2,000 homeless deaths a year, quadruple the level of about a decade ago, and if anyone wonders why drug abuse and violence are the overwhelming killers of the homeless, one reason is the government is paying them to kill themselves and one another. It's a provocative statement. Let's get a little bit of description as to the evidence behind that claim. Pleased to be joined by the man who has a name ripped from the pages of a Marvel comic book, Judge Glock.
Wow.
That should be a franchise. It really should.
Is that your real name?
Judge Glock is it's his real name.
No,
and his,
go ahead. It is the real name.
It is the real name, and his real job title is Chief Policy Officer at the Cicero Institute, and contributing editor of City Journal, and the author of The Dead Pledge, The Origins of the Mortgage Market and Federal Bailouts, 1913 to 1939. Writes on a range of topics, as you tell, because he's got superhero-like powers.
Right, he's got a cape
Judge
on.
Glock, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm sure you never get that, by the way, about your name either.
It's okay. It's a great name. I thank my mom for
It is a great
greatest
name.
name.
Everybody wants to be named Judge Glock. I don't know, Judge Glock.
Dan's getting jealous.
All right, so the government pays the homeless to kill themselves and one another. That's sort of a big statement. What's the basis?
Well, there's numerous programs today, government programs both at the federal level and at the state and local level, that reward drug abuse pretty explicitly. In the piece, I talk about a few programs such as homeless housing programs that give extra points, as they call them, towards free or subsidized housing for people who can prove that they're overdosing, for people that can prove that they're abusing drugs, for people who can prove they're not in recovery, and for people that can prove they're actually committing acts of violence or crimes against other people, and especially against other homeless people.
But doesn't the government claim that they're trying to support most vulnerable people?
Yeah, so the argument is if someone has a severe drug abuse problem, if someone is constantly arrested or thrown in jail, they, of course, have higher needs. They're more desperate in that sense than other people. But that ignores that telling homeless people and telling a lot of people across other programs that the way to get into free housing and the way to get government benefits, say disability or special transportation assistance with benefits, etc., is to abuse drugs, commit crimes, commit violence, is just kind of patently insane when you step back and think about it for a little bit. We interviewed somebody at the Cicero Institute and actually accompanied them to one of these, as they call them, scorings. And that homeless individual realized and said that, you know, if I had been abusing drugs, I might have been able to get a free house, but he wasn't. And therefore, he didn't get any of the benefits. That message has gotten out. And, you know, we've seen some of the lamentable consequences of that on the street.
In a sense, we shouldn't be surprised government aligned against the interests of its intended beneficiaries, because we see this all the time, not just among the homeless, but among the general population. What are cigarette taxes? Don't smoke, but we've already budgeted. We know you're going to smoke. You have to smoke. We've already budgeted for the amount of money we're going to raise by you smoking. Sort of the same thing going on here. Don't do it. We tell you not to do it. We have PSAs, but really we have already set up these programs expecting you're going to do it. We're contemplating you're going to do it. That's how we get budgeted by those who control the purse strings in Congress. And so you perpetuate the dysfunction.
Exactly. And in one sense, it's very similar to the cigarette taxes in that there's a lot of groups, nonprofits and others, developers of the subsidized housing that benefit from these programs. But it's even worse in the sense because unlike, say, taxing cigarettes and then basing a budget off them, it's like every time someone bought a pack of cigarettes, the government gave them an extra $5 to thank them for smoking. And that's exactly what's happening here. Well, I said in Massachusetts, for instance, if you are homeless and looking for housing, you get 4 points as they call them, towards these free housing units if you can prove that you're using drugs right now and you're not in recovery, but only 1 point if you've been in recovery for over a year. You get a bonus 2 points if you can prove you've overdosed in the last 12 months. So again, they're explicitly giving people money and rewarding them for abusing drugs and sometimes just committing crimes. If you can prove you've been in jail for in the last year, you get bonus points.
And this is scoring system that you write about. Or at least one such scoring system is this tool that HUD uses, the Vulnerability Index Service Prioritization Decision Assistance Tool.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I got to put that back in my toolbox.
Yeah,
please.
Vice.
You borrowed it a while ago.
VICE-PDOT is the
acronym,
memorable acronym.
Mhm.
But I mean, they're actual scoring systems that are used nationwide by local, state, and local government agencies.
Exactly, and the VICE-PDOT is used across the entire country. There's points for selling drugs. There's points for sharing needles, for running drugs. There's points for landing in a drunk tank or jail. There's points for being accused of a crime, etc. You know, it's rewarding every kind of atrocious behavior you can imagine, and people respond to incentives. People respond to things like that. If the government's telling you, look, this is the way to get ahead in our current housing and welfare system is to run drugs, abuse drugs, commit crimes, you're going to see the result of that, not surprisingly. And
Well, what about
detail a lot of
single?
other things.
Yeah. What about single
Go ahead.
mothers?
Yeah, so that's one of the kind of most disturbing part of it. They have a separate, again, as you mentioned, kind of infelicitously named VICE-PDOT for single mothers, for families. And someone can get bonus points for making sure their kids don't go to school. They get bonus points for leaving kids unsupervised. You get a bonus point, shockingly enough, if one of your children has been taken away by child services. So, again, the assumption the government says is, well, you're the most vulnerable people we can imagine. But normal people looking at it saying, you're rewarding parents for abusing their children. And that's exactly what the government is doing in this circumstance.
And that's the extent of the thinking behind it is they're the most vulnerable. You know, the biggest train wrecks of their own doing get the most points and thus the most government support.
Yeah, it's assuming that all of these actions, doing drugs, abusing a child, committing crimes, are just totally beyond the sort of willpower of any human. They just kind of happen to people.
Right.
But no, obviously people make choices to do that, and rewarding those choices, again, actually giving them extra points and benefits in housing is the worst possible thing the government could do to someone who's trying to get their life together.
You give us a little bit of historical perspective on this, too, going back to the early 70s with the creation of SSI. Why don't you just, run us through the last 50 years of that bad idea being, well, to borrow a phrase, supplemented by these other layers of bad ideas and bad policies?
Yeah, so back in 1972, when the government created this special disability program for the poor, there's some people there who wanted to include drug and alcohol addiction as a, quote, disability, again, under the assumption that it was sort of just kind of an act of God that happened to people and didn't involve any choices. And they did. They included drug and alcohol addiction as disability. So if you could prove to a government bureaucrat that you were addicted to drugs, you would get a monthly disability check. And if you recovered, you would lose the check. So, again, this is literally paying people to abuse drugs. In the early 90s, it really exploded, and there was over 250,000 addicts on the rolls at that point, and became a popular sort of thing. It was mentioned on Law and Order. CBS 15 Minutes did a piece. You had all these horrendous stories of people dying the day their newest disability check came in because they, of course, spent it on drugs because they were found they were self-declared drug abusers. And in 96, the new Republican Congress, with the help of Democrats, a bipartisan move, ended this program. But as I described, there was a lot of activists who were very outraged at this and said, no, addiction is just an illness like any other. We need to subsidize it. And there was many programs that they've gotten back in place beyond just the homeless housing that give extra benefits and try to look out for people who are abusing drugs.
And I mean, from following the policy discussions, I know there was some general talk, and there's been white papers and plans. I mean, this is maybe going back to before even Paul Ryan was Speaker, but talking about rethinking the welfare state, and this would be a part of it. I mean, do you see any reconsideration in the policy discussions about if we're going to have programs like this, the way they're set up and the incentives they produce?
There's a little. In 2018, Congress passed this Support for Patients and Communities Act, which subsidized what's called recovery housing. And recovery housing is housing that demands sobriety, that demands people usually work. They try to get their lives together. You kind of use both the carrot and the stick that, hey, we're going to give you this housing, but part of the thing is you have to reach out to and help get your life together. The unfortunate thing with the current programs is actually the opposite. The current government programs for housing and other things actually say the people administering them cannot mandate any sort of sobriety or even treatment. If you run a government homeless housing complex, it's illegal for you to say, please, go to a treatment center, get a mental health checkup, get anything. They say, and sometimes they actually give out needles and other things for the users, again, under a harm reduction approach, that these things are just kind of happening to people and they can't do anything to prevent it. But this kind of recovery housing, more things to help people get their lives together, is clearly the right path. And when normal Americans hear about it, that seems to make the most sense to them, and rightfully so.
He is Judge Glock. He's the Chief Policy Officer, I should say, at the Cicero Institute. And as Cicero famously said, Amy, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, it's the parent of all others. So we're very grateful to have Judge Glock, who's also a contributing editor of City Journal and the author of The Dead Pledge, The Origins of the Mortgage Market and Federal Bailouts, 1913 to 1939. Judge Glock, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. And if you want to read that article, Subsidizing Addiction, it's at cityjournal.org. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I've gotten a whole lot stronger. I've built up my whole energy system.
I just feel really good. I mean, I'm 88 years old, and I feel pretty good. I get around well, and I think it's given me more energy.
I do definitely notice that I don't feel as tired and mentally drained, and my head feels clear, and I have energy to do things like outside.
We like your products. We use it all the time, and we're doing very well, and we thank you. We see more energy, and we just feel better all the time.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature right now. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com for more information or to place your order. Shipping is always free. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code CHICAGO.
I got to correct myself. It's city-journal.org, Subsidizing Addiction. Everyone should read it.
That's right. And Judge Glock, it's inspired me to change my name. Maybe it'll just be like a radio persona.
Oh, yeah. Moniker, what do you want? What you got, Bobo?
Just using that formula, that construct. Magistrate Magnum.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
How about that? Or maybe Justice Colt.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're doing.
Still kicking it around.
Attorney 38 Special. No, yeah.
That doesn't
really
really.
bad. That was really bad.
Yeah.
Somebody texted in, I'm changing my name to Sergeant Desert Eagle.
Barrister Benelli. Yeah.
What would you change your name to? 312-642-5600. We'd love to hear from you. Or you can text us a name change at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. And have you heard about the Percale sheets? Oh, they're the best sheets in the world, the comfiest set you can own. And now MyPillow is having their biggest sheet sale of the year. Percale sheets are available in a variety of colors and sizes and are all on sale. Why do people like them? Well, they have a high thread count, they're breathable, and have a cool, crisp feel. Queen size, regularly $89.98, now only $39.98 with promo code Amy. Order them now because when they're gone, they are gone. Go to MyPillow.com. And when you check out, be sure to put Amy, A-M-Y, in that promo code. You'll get deep discounts on the Percale sheets, but all other MyPillow items. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
And now, a special announcement from the Mancini Law Group. Over the course of 4 decades, contaminated drinking water at North Carolina's U.S. Marine Corps Base, Camp Lejeune, put hundreds of thousands of people at risk for cancer and other serious illnesses. If you or a loved one lived, worked, or were present at Camp Lejeune for at least 30 days between August 1st, 1953 and December 31st, 1987, and developed cancer or a serious illness due to the base's toxic water supply, you could be eligible for substantial financial compensation. This also applies to individuals who were in utero during the aforementioned time period. Don't just call any toll-free number. Call the Mancini Law Group. They're a quality local law firm that will give your case the attention it deserves. Contact the Mancini Law Group today for a no-cost case evaluation at 773-745-1909. That's 773-745-1909. Again, 773-745-1909 or online at mancinilaw.com. That's mancinilaw.com.
All right, they've been around since 1979. Permaseal, family owned and operated. They have 7,000 reviews with Google, and they have high markings with the BBB, Better Business Bureau. And right now, they want you to know that if you have a cracked or sunken driveway, sidewalk or stoop, patio or garage floor, they can fix it. Permaseal can raise and level sunken concrete quickly and efficiently and at a fraction of the cost of replacement. 800-421-SEAL for that free inspection. Their poly-level solution will put an end to those dangerous trip hazards and eyesores. Folks, it's the quickest, least expensive, and most durable system to repair your sunken concrete. Don't replace it, raise it. Contact Permaseal, 800-421-7325 for your free inspection, or visit permaseal.net, and be sure to ask about their financing options up to 48 months.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
2021 marked Chicago's deadliest year in a quarter century. Crimes and gang-related violence continue to increase year over year. We can stop this violent cycle by implementing trade schools for young adults, former inmates, and other Chicagoans to learn valuable skills, providing opportunity, education, and economic empowerment. Choose Dr. Willie Wilson as mayor so we can keep Chicago safe together.
I approve this message. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Illinois' population loss was the third worst amongst U.S. states from July 2020 to July 2021. 2,400 businesses in the Chicago area will never reopen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As mayor, Dr. Willie Wilson will work hard to restore Chicago by lowering taxes to keep people in the city, helping small businesses get back on their feet, and expanding access to infrastructure. Dr. Willie Wilson, leading Chicago to a better tomorrow.
I approve this message.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, you started me on this because you had a song from Kevin Bacon about corn.
His ode to corn is very moving.
Yeah, and corn's making a comeback. Corn's cool. Did you know that? I just went to an Iowa game, too, and they had Iowa corn, sponsored by Iowa corn, and everybody, farmers stood up.
Well,
It's
yeah.
corn.
Corn is kind of a big thing in Iowa.
Yeah, so there's this kid. His name is Tariq, and he went to a corn festival in South Dakota, and he was interviewed by somebody about corn and his love for corn, and they made it into a TikTok, and it's now gone viral. Give it a chance. He loves corn.
I really like corn.
What do you like about corn?
It's corn. A big lumpy nuts. It has the juice. I can run a more beautiful
Same. They ripped those lyrics from Kevin Bacon.
I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. When I tried it, the title
It's the same lyrics.
Because Kevin Bacon stole it from this kid. I was waiting for you to figure this out.
Oh, really?
Little test.
Kevin Bacon stole it.
From this kid. It was original. Like, this was the interview.
For me, I really like corn.
What do you like about corn?
Ever since I was told that corn was real, it tasted good.
Did you think corn wasn't real?
But when I tried it with butter, everything changed. I love corn. Corn.
Yeah. I like the way he says corn.
His name's Tyreek.
So Bacon stole it from the kid.
Yes.
Oh, and this has gone viral, so everybody's doing their artistic interpretation, their own arrangement of Tyreek's
But it's
ode to
millions
corn. Oh, that's great.
of views on TikTok.
Okay,
And
that's cool.
They just, Governor Nome declared September 3rd Corn Kid Day. So, and they said he's amazing.
I don't get it.
And Bacon actually
Like a
played
corn
it
maze?
on the neck of the guitar with an ear of corn.
He did.
So
Yeah,
he
that
showed
was pretty
a
cool.
little dexterity
He-
there. So
he
give him
did.
a small
He did.
amount of
Yeah,
credit.
he's talented.
Yeah, he's sort he's sort of in the downslope of his career. Though.
Oh,
He's-
come on. What's
he's-
that 7 separations of Kevin Bacon?
He's what?
7 degrees.
7
degrees. Yeah.
Jesus.
He's going like Nick Cage. In the last 3 years, he's gone like Nick Cage. There's been a lot of movies and a lot of bad movies.
But he's also in bands, so he's he's staying active. He's staying out there in his elderly age.
Yeah.
Elderly. He's the same age as me.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
Well, you look a lot younger than him.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Wow.
No, I don't know about that. The hair. The hair always makes you look a little bit younger. Bacon's got the hair.
Bacon's got the hair.
Bacon's got the hair on Mike.
Yeah, and he plays guitar.
And he plays guitar. Coming up at 8:38, we're going to talk to Regan Deering. She's the Republican nominee for Congress in Illinois' 13th. That's downstate. That's a pickup opportunity in this state, believe it or not. 8:38.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
62 degrees at 8:32. 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly is in custody. Allegedly going on a shooting spree around Memphis on Wednesday. Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis confirms 4 are dead, 3 more are injured.
2 weapons were visible inside the vehicle where Kelly was. The Homicide Division and other investigative units are actively working these crime scenes now, and numerous felony charges are pending.
Commuters no longer have to wear masks while riding mass transit across New York State. Governor Kathy Hochul yesterday.
I know that people may be hesitant to come on a Monday morning at 8 o'clock, but we're seeing the numbers almost back to normal on weekends, Sunday brunch time.
We're watching in Ukraine this morning where Ukrainian army forces have recaptured at least 2 villages, maybe 3, in a surprise attack today that punched through major Russian front lines south of the town of Kharkiv. Bermuda bracing for Hurricane Earl as it intensifies in the Atlantic, maybe a Category 2 storm. 1 person is dead, 2 others are wounded following a shootout on Chicago's west side. Police say a man and another person were arguing early this morning in the 5800 block of West Madison. A man critically wounded following a shooting on a CTA Red Line train in Chicago's South Loop late last night. Area 3 detectives are currently investigating. And a 27-year-old suburban man has been arrested by Bloomington, Indiana police after an 18-year-old woman told officers she was sexually assaulted in a parking garage on September 1. Andre Hardy of Joliet was nabbed in Will County, taken into custody with the assistance of U.S. Marshals in Joliet, and is awaiting extradition. White Sox beat the Mariners 9-6 at T-Mobile Park, while the Cubs lost to the Reds 7-1 at Wrigley. The Sky will try to advance to the WNBA Finals again tonight at Wintrust Arena. The news service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or text the word app to 64636. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants us to prepare.
We have a battle ahead of us. We have turmoil in America. We've got to be ready to fight, not physically, but at the ballot box, with ideas, with logic, with wisdom, with clarity. I know this.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's to patriotism. Here's to choice. Here's to having your voice be heard, especially when voting with your hard-earned dollars. When voting with your dollars, Matrix Home Solutions asks you to support businesses that share your values. If you're considering a home renovation, specifically basement or bathrooms, Matrix is asking for your vote. Matrix is a locally owned business that was recently named one of the top 50 remodelers in America. They support patriotism, freedom, and liberty-based ideals. As the title sponsor of the Freedom Summit in Chicago, Matrix has committed its support for our voices to be heard. They would also like to show support for loyal AM 560 listeners. Do you have a basement or bathroom project coming up? Visit matrixam560.com to claim your exclusive 20% discount simply by entering promo code VOTE, V-O-T-E. Also, register for your chance to win a free home makeover at matrixam560.com. Vote with your dollars on your next home project by entering promo code VOTE at matrixam560.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I need to tell you, I'm 81 years old. I've been taking these now for about 2 months. I am so happy. I'm telling everybody about you. I am just so pleased, but I just feel wonderful. I never felt so good in my life.
I really thought that, this is just another gimmick, that this wasn't really a real good vitamin. I just thought it was just another vitamin on the TV. And so my husband said, well, why don't you order them and let's try them? He said, because we don't eat right anyway. And we tried them in about a week. We started feeling much better.
Start your journey. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping, and don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
8:37, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update on the roads is a service of Blindster. Want to save big on new blinds and shades and shutters? Shop Blindster now. Save 45% off any order. Just use code radio. Offer ends soon. Shop today. Blindster.com. Inbound Edens, 36 minutes. Lake Cook Road to the junction. Kennedy inbound. It's just a mess. Avoid it if you can. It's over 90 minutes inbound from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound side, not so great as well. 36 outbound back out to the big airport. Ike inbound is also at about 90 minutes, 390 into the old post office. You're jammed solid. Manheim into the Burns Circle interchange. Stevenson in 70 minutes from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan 27, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. I-57 in Kankakee. It's closed right now. It's a bad accident. A couple of commercial motor vehicles collided, and that's northbound this morning in Kankakee. We'll keep our eyes on that for you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Brilliant sunshine. High of 83. Currently 66. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
It's cold. Yeah. Kevin Bacon's tribute to Tyreek, the corn kid.
The corn kid, yes.
I mean, look at this thing.
I just still can't believe he's strumming the guitar with an ear of corn.
I can tell you all about it. And when I
Happening?
tasted it with butter, everything changed. 'Cause it's corn. Big lump with mouths and has the juice. I mean, look at this.
That's a very bluesy, passionate tribute to corn. That
Now I'm hungry for corn.
I'm a little concerned about Kevin Bacon's mental state. The combination of his most recent movies plus that ode to corn. But no, it's pretty good. I agree. Well, we're going to talk corn country because next up in a series of candidates that we're bringing you for consideration on the ballot on November 8th in Illinois. This is a key one because it's a pickup opportunity for the congressional delegation. It's Illinois 13, which is central Illinois to Metro East. So it starts out like Bloomington and jogs east to Champaign and then jogs over through Decatur and Springfield all the way down to Metro East. I think I've got that right. Regan Deering is the Republican nominee for this seat, and she's running against a public sector union-backed hack. But, public sector unions have a lot of sway in central Illinois, just like they do up here in northeastern Illinois. Regan Deering joins us now. Regan, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Pleasure to be here with you and your listeners.
Well, so give us a little bit, make sure I've got sort of the broad parameters of your district correct, and then give us a little bit of background on you and this foray into running for Congress you decided upon.
Sure. Well, you've described pretty well our gerrymandered 13th district. We do not include Bloomington, however.
Okay.
But we are, in fact, from Champaign-Urbana across the middle of the state to Springfield and then down to the Metro East. You're exactly right. So this is an open seat, this race. Unfortunately, we had two Republican incumbents mapped in together to battle it out in the 15th congressional district here in Central Illinois as well. And so we lost a seat there, and then we also, of course, lost an entire district thanks to the census and losing over 1 million people moving out of the great state of Illinois. So this 13th district has now been mapped for Democrats to try and pick up a seat here in Central Illinois. And in fact, they have put in a hand-picked candidate from Governor Pritzker's office and President Biden's office to try and hang on to this seat. My foray into the race really came from an organic place, knowing that we were losing our current congressman. And I am frustrated, like many families here in Central Illinois, with the kind of disconnect between government officials and bureaucrats and policy coming out of Washington and what's affecting our hardworking families right here in Central Illinois. So for me, I have experience not in politics, but in real life. I was an educator. I owned a small business franchise in the Decatur community that brought a great service and a number of jobs. And then lately I have been advocating for low-income families to be able to put food on the table and, pay their bills. So I feel like those experiences are really preparing me for making some progress for the great people in the state of Illinois.
And what's the business economy or the business atmosphere like in Decatur these days?
Well, we have been losing population as well. And, obviously coming out of COVID, we had quite a hit on a lot of our small business sectors. We do have some big industries in agribusiness and 2 hospitals as well, the large public school education. So we are seeing some growth. We've had some good news come out of a couple of state and federal grants that are trying to be economic drivers. So we're hanging in there, but, this economic environment under the Biden administration is really making it challenging.
Well, and I mean, your lineage. I mean, you come from a family that had a big footprint in agribusiness, big footprint in Central Illinois. You're the granddaughter of Dwayne Andreas, right?
That's correct.
So I mean, so just part of this is speak to the importance of something that we don't talk about as much up here, even though we have, we are home to ADM, we are home to CAT, we are home to John Deere, less and less so, but still. And so speak to agribusiness and the importance of that sector for this state.
Yeah, well, agribusiness and farming is the number one economic driver in the state of Illinois. And we had a great opportunity last week. I earned the endorsement of the Illinois Farm Bureau as the candidate in the 13th Congressional District. And that has allowed me the opportunity to continue to crisscross this district and meet with farmers and talk about what their concerns are. I mean, these record high prices with their fuel and their fertilizer costs, they're facing the supply chain issues. They're having job shortages. And we're meeting in roundtables and talking about how we can't get people to work. And if we can't grow our food and feed the state, the country, and the world, we're going to be in a world of hurt. So, this industry is talking about, just wanting good trade options, less government regulations, costs they can afford so that they can continue to thrive and grow our economy right here in Illinois. We've got, transportation and infrastructure issues as well. We have 100-year-old, locks and dams. If we can't get our product, to market, we're going to have big issues.
You see, it's interesting because I've been hearing about infrastructure as it pertains to commercial transport of agri-products for a long time. The riverways, all this infrastructure we have with being centrally located, that is so advantageous if we had a state that was sensibly run. Been hearing about this every time there's a massive capital bill going back to George Ryan's Illinois First more than 2 decades ago, and fast forwarding to Pritzker's most recently. I was here. This is going to be a big part of it. This is going to be a big part of it: road, rail, and waterway. And yet, every time that we're done spending, back in the day, it was a handful of billions, and then now it's tens of billions, we still seem to have the same problems. How do you explain that?
Yeah, well, I certainly have heard those concerns like you, and I hope to be a voice in Washington for the state of Illinois. We have seen some improvements in some of those infrastructure dollars go to our neighbors and head out east, but we're just going to have a louder voice, and knowing that Illinois, is the heart of the Midwest and the heart of the ag industry, and, we can't continue to ignore our crumbling rural roads, our 100-year-old infrastructure, and so that's something that I will advocate for should I get there.
When you think about being a voice for Illinois in D.C. and a voice for central to southern Illinois specifically, other than agribusiness, what are some of the priorities you have?
Well, I have an education background as well, so we've been having a lot of conversations about public education in the 13th district. We really are seeing the devastating effects now that we're back in school of being forced to stay home and get into remote learning over the last 2 years. So we have a lot of ground to make up, and we've been having some great conversations about school choice and making sure that parents are able to send their kids to the best learning environment for them. That's not a partisan issue per se. We all want to create great opportunities for our students and get them to be, available in the workforce or continuing on into education to study a specific degree that can help keep them in their communities and continue to grow our economy. So education is one of those things that has been top of mind. And I think that, it's an interesting topic when we talk about, for example, border security. We have a crisis going on at our border, and this administration has essentially put out a welcome mat for illegal immigrants to come to our border. And it is a crisis, not only humanitarian, but at national security level. And, I continue to talk about it, and some people give some pushback of, hey, we're here in Illinois. What does that mean to us? Why should that be such a top priority? And I'm sure this week Chicagoans have a new perspective with an indication that Texas is now going to be sending a few busloads of immigrants to your city. But, for me and my family, I have 3 teenagers. A huge concern for me is the fentanyl crisis that is, booming in this administration's open border policy, because these cartels are having, the opportunity to bring across drugs. We've got human trafficking as well. And, I try and tell my teenagers, please, I beg you, every mother's worst nightmare, do not experiment with drugs these days. We just cannot confirm what is being laced on, and it's all it takes is one bad choice.
One little tiny pill could kill you. I know. I wanted to talk to you as you're going about your district and talking to, your constituents, what's their number one concern right now?
Inflation, without a doubt, that is the concern. I mean, these kitchen table issues as far as being able to put gas in the tank, buy groceries. We've got record high food prices. I think they're up 12%. And we can say, oh, gas prices are coming down, but they're still, too high compared to where we were just a few years ago. And it doesn't seem to be getting any relief. We can have acutely named Inflation Reduction Act, but when economists are saying we're not going to see any actual impact on inflation, and we're just going to continue to increase taxes on our middle-class families and, hurt our domestic energy production, it's a concern, and people want some immediate relief. So that, without a doubt, is the number one concern I'm hearing in my district in 13.
If you're part of a Republican takeover of the House, there's been a lot of Republican members of Congress that have said things about where they're going to investigate and who they want to whistle before committee hearings, and the sort of reckoning that is, frankly, being demanded by many center-right types with respect to how the CDC behaved during the pandemic, how the intelligence agencies and the FBI have behaved over the last couple of presidential election cycles to present. Are those things that you want to be a part of as well?
Well, I definitely am hearing that frustration in the lack of accountability from people I meet on the campaign trail. And so I do think that should Republicans take the majority, there will be, some emphasis put on accountability for those things. I remember the first commercial we ran, and this is coming straight from my citizen mouth, was, how do these elected officials and bureaucrats keep getting away with this? We continue to elect people that seem to be working the system and breaking the laws, and everyone needs to be held accountable. So I do think that there is an opportunity for us through committee work to be able to put people to task and answer some hard questions. But at the same time, our American families are hurting, and they don't want to be bogged down by sideshows of accountability. They want us to get there and work for them and make sure that we're focused on good policy and good funding that's going to provide some relief to them. So that's really my main focus is going to be getting in there, getting to work, talking about smaller bills, reaching across the aisle. We've got to have some bipartisanship to actually get some work done and make some progress and not just make some noise.
This is more of a political question. Well, it's a political question, actually. The enthusiasm among Republicans or independents who are leaning Republican this time around, and that's the majority, which is why Republicans are poised to take the House back and the Senate as well. What's it like in your neck of the woods? We talked to a couple of candidates that suggest there's some apathy still. A lot of my vote doesn't count in Illinois because it's so dominated by Chicago Democrats. This has been a lament that's been pretty consistent over the last couple of decades at least. So what's the feeling you have down there? Are people enthused? Do you expect big turnout? Do people feel like they have a real opportunity to make substantial changes in the governance of the state and the country?
Well, I think that the Republican ticket in Illinois this cycle is really exciting. We have a lot of candidates that are, in fact, getting off the sidelines and trying to fight for change at the state level and the federal level. And we're working really hard to continue that enthusiasm. This is going to be probably one of the most important elections in my lifetime. It's a complete honor to be on the ballot and know that the residents of Illinois 13 and around the state are supporting me in knowing that I really am running for the right reasons. I want to continue to find, success for all of Illinois, and we're focused on good priorities and good solutions. So I have been enthused by efforts out and meeting people on the trail. They're getting involved. They're advocating for their candidates. They're showing up to be precinct committee men and women or poll watchers, and knowing that they have a role to play in making sure that the candidates that they want to get behind have a great opportunity to win in November.
She is Regan Deering. She's the Republican nominee for Congress in Illinois 13. That's, as you said, Champaign through Decatur, Springfield down to Metro East. So even if you're not in the district, you can still get involved in this pickup and help this candidate, help Mrs. Deering win her race and help Republicans gain a seat in Illinois. Regan, R-E-G-A-N, the number 4, Congress.com. ReganForCongress.com is her website for more information on the candidacy, the campaign, get involved, make a donation, help this effort that is underway downstate. Regan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate you, Dan and Amy, and thanks for letting me speak to your listeners up there. You're right. This is a great opportunity, and I would appreciate their support.
All right. Thank you so much, Regan. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
2021 marked Chicago's deadliest year in a quarter century. Crimes and gang-related violence continue to increase year over year. We can stop this violent cycle by implementing trade schools for young adults, former inmates, and other Chicagoans to learn valuable skills, providing opportunity, education, and economic empowerment. Choose Dr. Willie Wilson as mayor so we can keep Chicago safe together.
I approve this message. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Illinois' population loss was the third worst amongst U.S. states from July 2020 to July 2021. 2,400 businesses in the Chicago area will never reopen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As mayor, Dr. Willie Wilson will work hard to restore Chicago by lowering taxes to keep people in the city, helping small businesses get back on their feet, and expanding access to infrastructure. Dr. Willie Wilson, leading Chicago to a better tomorrow.
I approve this message.
Guys, a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and be sure to go to a provider you can trust. I recommend my friends at Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. Low T Center exclusively specializes in men's wellness. They check all of your levels, not just your testosterone, and they determine the cause of any symptoms you're having and whether you're a candidate for low T or something else like low thyroid or sleep apnea. Typically, their annual health assessment is completely covered by health insurance, and they check everything, including PSA, which is your prostate levels, thyroid, liver and kidney function, cholesterol, glucose levels, and more. Low T Center has affordable and convenient options for treatment, including monitored self-inject treatment that ships directly to you each month. So make your health a priority. Schedule your annual health assessment at Low T Center today. It's covered by most health insurance or less than $100 cash pay. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a physician. I've been in practice for 40 years. And when I started taking this, I don't like medicines, and I probably have taken more people off medicine than I put on it. And so I looked at it, and it's pretty much a natural element. And there's no question in my mind, knowing a lot of patients, that people my age, 60 and over, do not eat right, and they certainly don't get the appropriate nutrients through the vegetables, fruits, and things like that. So I think that it supplies the building blocks that your body normally would use to heal itself, and if you don't get them, you don't heal right. So it's amazing. I mean, I'm doing what I did 2 years ago.
Start your journey to better health. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping. And don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Apparently, we're on death watch for Queen Elizabeth. According to CNN, her children have been summoned to the castle to be by her bedside.
We're not on death watch for Bernie Shaw anymore.
Well, he passed. Okay. Oh my, that is so. First anchor at CNN, Bernie Shaw has passed away.
No,
I like Bernie Shaw.
Obviously, you always remember under the table in Baghdad.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Gulf War I. Yeah.
All right.
Now he's, under the ground.
El Rashid Hotel with Pita Arnett.
That's
Mike
right.
Scott remembers.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah, like it was yesterday.
Peter
It was on the
Arnett
air.
Still alive?
Where have the 30 years gone?
All right, thanks so much for making us part of your morning, part of your lives. Thanks to Quinn McCarthy, who's the best producer east of the Mississippi, and Justin Kosick, who's awesome too, whatever it is you do.
Damning them with faint and bizarre praise.
Let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A man charged in a Highland Park double murder has a court date today. A man shot on a Red Line train in the South Loop is in critical condition. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
They're praying for the Queen in Britain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After doctors expressed concern this morning.
This is something we really haven't seen in a very long